From the legends of memory and storage, Crucial brings you the ultimate performance in gaming. Legendary products, precision engineered for speed and stability. Crucial Ballistics.
Hey guys, this is Raka and welcome to the Streamer Reviews, where gaming streamers gonna review the best new gaming laptops in the market. And today we are looking at the Intel powered Asus ROG Z17, a laptop which stands for its amazing multitasking capabilities. As a streamer, I need my system to stream, game, record all at the same time. Having tested it, I'm quite thrilled that this laptop can actually handle it. And if you're wondering how, it is all thanks to the 11th gen Intel Core i9 processor, which gives your laptop a desktop caliber performance. With 8 cores, 16 threads and Intel Turbo Boost Max technology 3.0, it is capable of running several tasks without worrying about bottlenecks. So multitasking also leads to some heating issues, but luckily the S17 has its active aerodynamic system plus, which improves the airflow and enables long hours of streaming while keeping it cool. While choosing for a laptop, I also look for fast connectivity options for my accessories such as Stream Deck and capture card. But thankfully, the S70's Intel Thunderbolt 4 is very sorted in this regard. This one port lets me connect to all my accessories easily thanks to its blazing fast bandwidth speed up to 40 Gbps. Overall, I think the Asus Zephyrus S17 is a great laptop for streamers, gamers, or anyone with the similar needs. So what are you waiting for? Bring yours home today.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to LG Ultragear presents TEC Gauntlet Season 4, powered by Crucial. Our gaming partner is Intel, and our apparel partner is 656. My name is Cribs, and with me today is Salty. How are you feeling today, bro?
I'm good. I'm good. Like it's been a very, very long break, and it's really good to be back. Like at this point, Valorant is like oxygen for me. I see that snake bite over there. Oxygen, and
Straight up oxygen.
exactly. So I'm very, very happy to be back, and let's see some really, really nice Valorant action.
Amazing. Well, today we have some cool matches for you guys lined up. First of all, we've got Optimistic Esports going up against FS Esports. And then we have Only Friends going up against True Rippers. Boy, oh boy. Well, there's one player that does come to my mind when we mention the word True Rippers, and that is, of course, Paradox, the guy who's
Yep.
leading the top of the player charts right now in terms of both MVPs and kills.
Yep. Exactly. I mean, to be honest, True Rippers, they've been really good throughout this season. I mean, before the break, we saw how good True Rippers were. They were right within somewhere in the top four of their group itself. But today, more or less, it's kind of an underdog showdown where you've got Optimistic versus FS. You've also got Only Friends versus True Rippers. We'll have a look at the MVP standings and let's find out which are the players who are really shining bright because we all need to freshen up our memories right now. It's been a very long break. And to be honest, Crips, like when I get such a long break, I kind of tend to forget the things what happened.
Oh, yeah, I don't blame you. It's been a long vacation, and it's good to be back. And guess who's back on the number one spot? It's Rofuel. I mean, up until yesterday, Paradox was leading the charts. He was the one who had the highest number of MVPs, and now Rofuel went from 3 to 5 in just a matter of a day. So
Yeah,
that's what brings him all the way up there. And of
exactly.
course, we won't be seeing Rofuel today, but Paradox will be featured in the match that's happening at 8 p.m. For now, though, the players that are participating in this match, the one at 4 p.m. right now, they won't be featuring in this MVP standings for now. But we'll take a look at their rosters in detail in just a bit.
Yep, for sure. For sure. But let's have a look at the group standings first, right? Let's have a look at which are the teams who are in the top four right now in a cruising position so they can make it to the playoffs, right? Because that is what it actually matters at the end of the day. You've got to play 7 long games in the group stages, after which you can find your position inside the playoffs. Now, look at this. True Rippers, 2 wins, 2 losses. The first name that comes in my mind because of course the 2 loss we saw how True Rippers their start wasn't really ideal, but then they kind of managed to recover themselves, stabilize, and kind of go forward. 2 losses would mean that they lose out on crucial points, but they can still make their way towards the playoffs if they can win their remaining matches. But Exploit and Reckoning, they've had a free run. We've seen how deadly they've been, and it's just a matter of time when Exploit versus Reckoning happens. We might get to see the first loss on these two teams, but of course, Optimistic Esports is someone who's going to play today versus FS. So that is going to be a pretty interesting game. Now that game is going to have consequences. If FS win today, they might topple True Rippers and take the number 4 position. If Optimistic win it, I feel like they're going to go closer to Reckoning and Team Exploit, which they would obviously want.
Definitely, Optimistic Esports, they have a chance to get closer to the top of this lobby, but we need to take a look at their lineups first and see exactly who's going to propel them all the way to the top. This is a team that's composed of a lot of young guns, but recently, a few more players have been added to this roster, which just exponentially increase the firepower that they have. IonQ has proved his worth on multiple other rosters before, and with him joining this team, they have so much firepower right now.
Absolutely. I mean, there's no doubt about the fact that INQ and YB together, they can create a lot of difference. Of course, we've seen only 3 games from these players, but looking at their composure, looking at how solid and how calm and composed these players can be on the battlegrounds is something which is very, very interesting to watch, because generally we tend to kind of connect the dots of young guns to firepower, aggressiveness, but this team has also showcased that they can be tactical, they can be composed enough that they can do their defaults well. They can also kind of think calm and analyze the situation and kind of think of an antidote of how to beat their opponent. So this thinking potential is something which I'm really looking forward to, and that can be very handy when it comes to playing against the likes of FS Esports today.
Yeah, being quick on their feet, thinking on their nerves, and just being overall fast with all the responses that their teammates give them, and providing backup at the right time. That kind of spontaneous and fluidity is what makes Optimistic Esports a very dangerous team to play against. But let's take a look at the man who's going to be in the spotlight for this team. I really think IonQ is one person that we talk about so much, but it still doesn't do him justice. The numbers which talk about his journey throughout the season of this gauntlet, uh, they don't do justice to all the things that he's done in the past as well. I mean, there was a time when he started his journey with ROG Academy. Then he moved on to playing with the big players, who some of them are in Enigma today. So this guy has been along with a lot of people. He's gathered a lot of experience from different sources, and
Yeah.
now bringing all that wealth of knowledge to this team, it's just so much depth added to all the things that this team can do when IonQ joins the roster.
Exactly. Now, the thing with INQ is that, like, you mentioned, like, he played with a lot of experienced players. Now, in most of the big teams, it's more likely that INQ wouldn't be able to play the jet spot because they already had star players in them. So INQ never really realized his potential, true potential in those lineups. But in this lineup in Optimistic Esports, I feel like this is where he gets to get the free roam. He gets to get the free roll. Just go out there, express yourself, play your comfort agents, and that is what I'm looking forward to, because he's already created the difference. You can see that ACS 242, which is very, very good. And he's also managed to kind of complete most of the kills that he had to. Now, he's not an out and out fragger. INQ, he's very tactical. He's very good with his aim. But most importantly, something which I really adore for this guy is his thinking capability and his impact for the team. As a duelist, it's not just the kills that you get, it's also the space that you create for the team. And INQ does that perfectly.
Yep, but there are some really, really cool players on the side of Team FS Esports as well, who all of them can probably give IonQ a run for his money. And when you have so many of players of such high caliber on the side of FS, they also are really, really dangerous people to go up against. Let's take a look at their lineup first.
Absolutely. It's going to be composed of B2. You've got Cactus, you've got Badman, you've got Cortez, as well as you've got Kohli. Now, we know most of these players. They've played for various lineups. I feel like Badman, his influence in this team is going to be paramount because of the experience that he brings on board. That has been very, very crucial for FSE Sports in the past, and I'm pretty sure that with him in this lineup, I feel like he can add a lot of value to the rest of the team, because they don't really lack firepower. What we kind of thought that FSE Sports lacked was someone to kind of bond them together, someone to kind of let the team flow and connect all the dots, join all the dots. I feel like Badman would be that key figure. He fits in this lineup perfectly with proper synergy, and if he can lead the team to success, nothing better than that.
Yeah, definitely. Batman obviously is the more experienced name on this roster. There was a time when B2 used to play the Cypher, and sometimes it's paradoxical of it because plays the Reyna too. So, there's very few players who pick up the Sentinel as well as the Duelist and keep switching on between the both of them. I mean, that's just so much different from what you usually play. Most people play the Duelist along with the Initiator if they juggle between roles, but not this guy. B2 is very fluid that way. But ever since Batman has come into the roster, he's the one who usually picks up the role of the Sentinel, or sometimes even the controller for the team.
Yeah.
He controls the pace of this game. That's probably why B2 has been playing the duelist role more often now. But I honestly don't know who should be in the spotlight of this team, because every player deserves so much more credit than they get.
Absolutely, but let's just find out who is going to be on the spotlight, because all right, we've got Kohli this time around, the Sova main from Team FSC Sports. You can see his stats over there already, like a very good KD ratio, I would suggest. I'm not really a stat junk, to be honest, Krebs. I'm not really someone who dives deep into numbers, but then they're also kind of a proper reflective of how you've been able to perform on your guns. But I feel like if you keep aside the guns, I feel like Kohli on the Sova has been paramount with his utility, and that is what you probably want from your Sova mate, to give you information, the eyes of the team, not someone who kind of frags in and day out, but the information that you provide, the information that you relay to the rest of the team. I feel like that adds a lot of value, and that is where Kohli's main strength lies.
Yeah, his main strength does lie in that, but he sometimes fails to provide that. And that's kind of the negative thing about this team. Every time Kohli does not perform, the team also cannot perform. So he's kind of like the backbone. And I mean, I don't really blame him. His role puts him in a lot of dangerous situations.
Yep.
So he might not always survive the first wave of fights, but depending on the outcome of his duels, the round pivots. So that makes Kohli a very key player to keep your eyes on today.
Absolutely, the fulcrum for Team FS Esports. We'll find out if Kohli actually performs to his best and if FS Esports can make it work for them. But, we've talked about the teams, we've talked about the players, we've talked about the MVPs, we've talked about the groups, and now it's time to understand how the battlegrounds stack up, because that is where the 3 matches are going to happen, and that is what is going to dictate the pace of the game and also determine the results. Let's have a look at the map veto, ladies and gentlemen, and find out which are the maps where the games are going to be played on. I have no information which are all right, so now I do have information. It's going to be Ascent first, then it's going to move over to Haven, and then it's going to be on Icebox. Now, very interestingly enough, I'm not really someone who comments on Ascent, because that's kind of like the neutral venue for most of the teams. Of course, FS Esports will have that upper hand. They're really good on this map. They have that fast-paced aggression in them. Haven is going to be pretty interesting.
I'm kind of worried about Haven though. We've usually seen IonQ and Webby to take the initiative on Haven, and they do so by extending out of the attacking side, and they're starting on the defense this time. So that's kind of a red flag for me. Whenever they do play in the defense, they usually either push out of A long corridors or C long corridors. So that's their jig, and everyone knows about that. Everyone knows about that play already. So I think to some extent, FNC Sports can hold them off. But Ascent, like you said, it's once again not a map that not a lot of people can comment on. It's very common for people to get their predictions wrong on Ascent, so why even bother? It's a very fair map. So let's just see who starts off with the better momentum this time around. Although on Icebox, I do feel a little better about FS Esports. Batman happens to be an exceptional controller in this game.
Yep.
And when I say
100%.
controller, I don't mean that he picks up the role of the controller. He just controls the battlefield very well no matter what he plays. And if you put this guy on the A side, he is as good as a mountain. You can't move him out. So that's one positive thing going in the favor of FS Esports. But that is if Icebox even happens. If the game ends at 2-0, then we probably might not even get to see it.
Exactly. I feel like, just like you mentioned, Batman's role on Icebox is going to be crucial, but just as crucial as on the maps of Haven and Ascent, because him being on the controller, him on the defensive side of things, I feel like he kind of is one form of defense. Now, most of the time, he kind of loves to play the Viper role, and that is where he also kind of plays the role of the pseudo Sentinel as well. So I feel like his job to kind of stop the attackers, his job to aid the reinforcements to come in, his also gun game, that is going to be very, very important. And overall, I feel like Batman's contribution will be something which is going to be a key for FS Esports, but the rest of the players, we need to watch out for them as well, because we start off on Ascent, and that is where I feel like the Jets, the Duelists, they can just go all in and unleash their firepower to give them a good start in the series.
Yeah. One thing I really want to see from today's map is probably going to be a chamber pick. We haven't really seen too much of chamber. We've seen Enigma pick it up quite a while, but not really anyone else. So will these teams experiment with it? Of course, in Ascent, you can pull it off. In Haven, I don't think a chamber is all that viable. Maybe in Icebox, you can pick that up as well. I want to see some variation, and I want to see new stuff from these teams who are not exactly towards the top of their groups just yet, but they can have a lot of potential, and I want to see them use that. I want to see them exploit it.
Yep. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, I feel like there's a little bit of a delay. We're still sorting out the player cam issue, and after that, we are going to get in the game. I'm pretty sure you guys are waiting for the games to begin, and even me too. I can't wait for Ascent to start because it's been a long time I've seen some proper Valorant action. Just as bright as the scenes turn up to be, just as bright as the stars look to be. I'm kind of very disappointed with the delay because I'm pretty sure most of the players, most of the audience as well, they really want to get in the game as soon as possible.
Hey, at least we know that it's probably because of the new update issue. I mean, at least Valorant is, making life easier for us. Just in today's update, we learned that Brimstone's ultimate has been changed a little bit. So, I mean, now that we have some time to discuss it, why not? I mean, if you ever been caught in the middle of a Brimstone ultimate, your mind is literally on fire. You are panicking and you're just trying to get out.
Yeah.
One thing that a lot of people get wrong is they try to just jump out of the way and they bunny hop their way outside.
Yeah.
Bro, walking is faster. I don't know why people just don't simply walk out of the way. They feel the need to jump and they feel that maybe you will get out of the way quicker, but that's just panicky instincts. You don't need to do
Exactly.
that.
I mean, it kind of controls your human behavior as well because I
Yeah.
recently saw clips on, I believe on Reddit, where most of the players who are physically playing the game, they are so invested in the game, they were dodging flashes like,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
most of the
Yeah,
time
that happens.
they're trying to peek outside a wall. It's like trying to shoot outside the wall. So like that is what happens when you play the game too much, and it can control the behavior. And I feel like that, just like you mentioned, it's sort of a panic instinct. It's something is burning. The floor is lava. I need to jump out of the way.
Yeah, because if you're in the air, it probably won't harm you. But people forget
Exactly.
that the brimstone ultimate comes at you from the sky, so it really doesn't help if you jump out of the way. Either way, I'm talking about brimstone because we are having this update, and that's exactly what's causing the delay, right? In this update, one of the key things that's been changed is brimstone ult. You can't see through the ult anymore. Um, Earlier, if there is a line of sight on your enemies, you can probably see little glimpses of them through the brimstone ultimate, especially if you have changed your player outline color from red to yellow. You can easily
Okay.
see it, and now that won't be possible anymore. Even players on minimap will not be shown up if you are looking at them through an ultimate, so it just completely blocks off your vision now. It's not a major change, but it's a good quality of life update.
Exactly. It should be. But ladies and gentlemen, it's good news. We are moving to the Eden selection, and let's find out what are the characters that are going to be played. First of all, you've got FS Esports, right? Right at the bat, you've got Kohli on Sova, B2 on the Reina. You've got Cortez on the KJ. Badman is going to play the default controller, and Dominic on the Jet. So a double duelist lineup once again back on Ascent, fresh in your memories. Well, update me on this, Crips. Is Neon available for a queue?
Nah. IonQ is just toying with us.
Oh, okay.
Really, a
Okay.
lot of people have begun to toy with us during the agent selection phase. I mean, it's okay. We're game for it.
Exactly. I mean,
half the time you can predict what's going to happen, right? So,
yeah, mostly so. And you deciding to opt for the Jet, but the rest of the lineup is still kind of not picked up as of yet. So you've got the Astra, you've also got the Viper. Now, I haven't really seen a double controller setup being deployed on the map of Ascent very much.
exactly.
It's mostly a rarity that we get to see more often than not, and it's still in its experimenting phase. I am not really sure if Optimistic have actually worked it out before or not, and if Immutable is going to shift the agent. But if this does manage to happen, if we get to see a double controller setup, then it gets very interesting because you've okay,
All right.
fine
Thank God.
enough. That's a KO that works perfectly. Along with the Sova, I feel like this agent can do a lot of wonders. Recently enough, I've managed to love KO quite a lot. Like previously, my favorite initiative was the Sova, but then I've come to kind of love the KO as much because I feel like there's enormous potential in that agent right now.
Oh, definitely. The Viper is just a bit too slow for me anyway, and KO brings just the right pace and just the right kit to control the pace of this game. His fragment can really slow down a push to a halt. Flashes, of course, let you peek whenever you want. And yeah, especially if you're up against a team like FS Esports, these guys can get all the information they need with that double initiator setup all the time. Mid-round changes can be very easy for them. So the KO just opens up a lot of possibilities. And
Yep.
you know that annoying Killjoy and Sova combination, both the teams being in this unromantic triangle where the Killjoy doesn't put down her ult because she's afraid of a Hunter's Fury, or
Yeah.
Sova doesn't use the Hunter's Fury because he's waiting for the Killjoy duel. That thing is just denied now because this KO can easily shut that down. So all the
Yeah.
Sova players in the lobby, they're gonna have a lot more freedom. But not all
Yeah.
of them, but definitely the Sova on the side of optimistic esports.
Yes, certainly. The Hunter's Fury to destroy that lockdown is going nowhere. Right at the get-go, you can see some lineups forming out, but you can see that most of the FS players, they're kind of still rotating. They're still trying to find for information. Immutable does get tagged quite a bit, but he's going to fall back immediately. Now, you can see most of the players from FS, they are trying to capture mid completely, and they've done that so, but moving forward from this position is going to be a very big problem. You've got the Astra towards mid. You've got two players guarding down the A-shot entry as well, so there's no freedom for movement for these players.
Oh my god, forget about freedom. They're heading straight to their deaths. Kawhi
Nice.
spraying down.
Nice.
It gets another one, both of them in just a single clip. Holy, of course, with a 180-degree turnaround, he also gets a double kill of his own. Oh my lord, they fight fire with fire. Double for double. Will we see a triple? Fox is in trouble. He tries to get the dink, but can't get the trade. Cortez finally overpowers him. Rotation coming around, but they're not looking in the right direction. IonQ is beating internally.
Come on, IonQ. Come on, IonQ. Go for it. Bad timing on this one. He still managed to get the kill.
How?
Does have a dash available. He knows exactly where the player is. The triple boxes. It's completely nullifies the turret. And Cortez now has to push out. He still managed to get the right click and connected. The first round goes to FS Esports, but in what fashion? It has been an absolute blockbuster right at the get-go. You've seen some amazing play. First from Kawhi, then from Kohli, then another play coming in. This was full of action.
Oh my god, full of spectacular plays. Just highlight moments right from the start. I have a friend who likes to use the word chamak quite a lot. This is exactly that kind of thing.
Just for the audience who kind of wondering who it is, it's a familiar face. OG, we miss you.
Yeah, we do. So yeah, this game, it's full of all those kind of plays. They got the information, a little bit of damage as well with the shock dart. But do they force the fight? Defaults coming in from FS Esports as they spread out all throughout the map. Spike though still towards the Beast side. Dominic has the information on one player, but does he know that Webby is still in Vine? This could be a good little gimmick that they pull off. They don't have a lot of guns anyway, so why not?
Yeah. I kind of love the fact that both the teams are very respectable to each other. Kohli taps both of them down. Like, it's very understandable because of the superior weaponry, but then it's also sort of okay for Optimistic to kind of try new things. They're waiting, they're trying to understand what the setup or the default IFS looks like, and I feel like they've done proper job. They have seen the bait towards the A side, the spike towards mid. I feel like this is what they were kind of trying to condition themselves to, right? How Team FS Esports kind of function, their aggressions.
The door's been shut off already. This could be crucial. Fox has nowhere to fall back. Just trying to fight with a shorty, hoping to take one player down along with him. But this is just not happening. Hey, I like that approach though. They've shut down the door of the A side already so that a push from tree can't come in. They can focus all their attention towards A main, and they don't need to keep anyone in that region. Just have someone towards the back of heaven in case they try to walk through tree, but they can't actually get to the side itself.
Yeah.
Although, I have to point out, it's just the third round and Goldery already has his Hunter's Fury ready. He got so many kills in this round along with the ultimate op. Bro, he's farmed up his 7 points of ultimates already.
Yeah. 6 kills plus 1 assist. He's
Plus 1
completing
ultimate op,
madness.
so yeah, he's got everything.
He definitely has, but this seems to be like a fast execute. You can see FS Esports trying to get information on the back of that owl drone, but the spike is towards the A side. Now, this is very important, trying to condition most of the players, trying to make them rotate towards the A side so that the defense can be diluted. That is what they're looking out for. But will this work? Because they've again got that upgraded weaponry. They've got the Vandals to fight with, and you can definitely trade off, but then the kind of real estate that they capture towards the mid is going to be the key. I feel like Jet, that is IonQ over there, can cause problems.
But those problems can be dealt with, to be honest.
Yeah.
IonQ, he's not alone in this region. He's got the backup of his fellow KO.
Now he has, yes.
They haven't closed the door, but that's probably because they want to fight in the first place. Both of them detected. Well, this is their cue. IonQ has elevation above the smoke, gets one kill, but immutable, not that lucky. Kawhi now in danger on the side, but if he hides inside the smoke, then he will become the danger. Batman! Awkward bullets exchanged throughout that smoke as trades go down left, right, and center. The attackers have got control of the site, but not quite yet. With Kawhi going down, they finally confirmed their presence. There we got playing very risky games. Could have walked into a crossfire, and it's Kohli who just continues to farm.
Fox will be
There
shut
it
down.
is.
He did try to go for a nice play with an swarm, but that's not happening. Another round for FS Esports, ladies and gentlemen, as they take a very early lead right at the start of the game so far. Now, this was a full buy coming in from Optimistic, so for them to kind of take the beating in that round, not really the best for the economy, but they can probably survive. I'm definitely not sure if this round is going to go in their favor. Of course, they are going to play it with their pistols. But speaking of which, I've seen comebacks come in from 0-4 situations. So things are still bright for Optimistic Esports, but it's definitely brighter on the camp of FS.
My god, it's Kohli who's shining as bright as a diamond right now. Man's about to touch 10 kills already. It's been just 3 rounds. Nobody else is even close to him, and I'm gonna be honest, these 3 rounds were possible only because of his individual prowess.
Yep,
Against a
absolutely.
bunch of pistols this round, and there's not much that Optimistic Esports can do, but they at least are keeping their setup dynamic. They're having IonQ changes possessions every round, so that's great. At least it will keep the players of FS on their toes, who also are just playing it in a very slow pace, holding their defaults for at least a minute every round. These games these teams really like to run down the clock, don't they?
Absolutely. I love the discipline that comes in from FS. Once again, flashes exchanged. Immutable will try and go for a right click, but that doesn't happen. Badman through the woodwork finds Immutable, but there's a trade happening. IonQ has actually tried to stop them, but that's not happening. Through the smoke, awkward exchanges, but FS Esports are all gonna find their kills. It's just one trade, but all the 5 bodies from Optimistic are gonna fall. And as they were scripted, things don't go against the script.
Oh my god, FS Esports, they have covered everything in their script. Every topic, every genre, from tragedy to comedy to everything under the sun. These guys cleared every single angle. They have the shock darts for close right, they've got recon darts for close left. If anyone's trying to hide inside the smokes, they will spam that corner. Pre-fires everywhere. They didn't even need to win their duels. Bro, it's not even a duel when you're just getting pre-fired in the face. Every single angle, they leave nothing. They leave no stone unturned. I think Optimistic Esports are going to have to either start pushing or playing off angles if they want to deal with this sort of precision. FS Esports, though, I love the discipline from them, at least this far. They know for a fact that Optimistic Esports are also a very patient team, and they know that Optimistic Esports is dynamic enough. So, FS, they are displaying a whole new level of discipline today. Nobody peeks out all by themselves. All trades are accounted for. Every corner first cleared with utility, then they peak. Sometimes they don't even need to do that because the pre-fires will get everyone. Damn, Batman, after taking over the reins of the IGL, really has transformed this team. I mean, if everyone plays in a very disciplined fashion and according to the textbook, then Batman's team FS will definitely win every single round. The only thing that could probably throw FS off is maybe an out of the textbook play. Well, let's see if Optimistic Esports have what it takes to do that. Nebulas are being used to just slow them down for now, but they will try to power through anyway. Fox is trapped inside the side, but he is the danger man over here, burning one player down, holding an off angle under the hell region. That's where you get the kills from. He's still on the side, hasn't been deterred, and you know what the best part is? The players of Optimistic Esports never even needed to commit a rotation in order to defend this region. They can still continue showing presence towards B, where Cortez will try to face them head on. But that's a lone fight, so I really wouldn't recommend Cortez to take it. If Optimistic Esports peak, then yeah, sure, he can probably pick them off. Fall back, hopefully not getting traded, but it's their turn to knock at the doors. The ball is in the court of FS Esports, looking at their potential first loss. 40 seconds to spare, Spike moving to its A site. Can Cortez sell a fake? Or will he just try to go in for a late look, hoping to shoot either the KO or IonQ in the back of their heads as they rotate?
30 seconds
This
left.
cosmic divide definitely clears out an easy amount of area. A recon dart has been put out exactly on the spot where the plant will happen. They were clearly trying to deny the spike plant, but it's not going to happen anyway. Cortez finally using his backstab to precision. Immutable has been killed, and with that, all the pressure is on the side of Optimistic Esports. Do they deal with their backstab first, or do they continue to press on? This, it seems like they are continuing to press on. The lockdown committed this time. Kohli dealt with the backstabber, so they are kind of safe. But the lockdown kind of forces them to move away. They have to commit the Hunter's Fury, not to destroy the lockdown, but to just deny the defuse instead. And they kill the diffuser. The best part, half diffuse is not done yet, so IonQ can't stick it even if he gets lucky, and they leave nothing to chance. FS Esports using their ultimates to the finest level in order to confirm the round, minimizing risk, negating all sorts of counterplays that can be done by Optimistic Esports. And Cortez and his patience, mind-blowing, absolutely perfect backstab. The one player who could have changed the outcome of this round was Immutable, because there are lineups that he can use to destroy the lockdown. Without him, nothing can be done. Baby God's already used up his shock dart, so they were relying on Immutable to probably do something about that lockdown. Maybe use his silence to suppress it or something, but nah, after that, nothing's gonna happen. Oh my god, the IonQ. The pacing of this man, already deep inside B-Link?
Certainly, but what can he potentially do? He's just got a Sheriff over there. Fox, though, with a Sheriff, has taken down one player already. There's another one, is going to find another kill, but IonQ has found a frag on Cortez, and now they've got complete control over B lobby. This is interesting. They can come in and wrap around the attackers from two ends. One is going to come in from heaven, one is going to come in through shot. This two-winged bird can potentially stop this push. Now you can see that they've got retrieved weapons as well, so this is not potentially an eco round or not potentially an eco battle that they've got to fight. Of course, few of them do have pistols, but rest of them, I feel like potentially IonQ has got a Vandal for himself. He does take down one with it. Recon dart's broken, but all of the information has been shared. B2 finds one completely with his pants down, and another second frag. 6th round for Team FS. And this team looks like on a roll.
Kohli is having the game of his life right now. Not only is he top fragging in the server, but his recon darts are so valuable, they're helping B2 get frags for free through the smoke. That is just the peak Sova gameplay.
Yep, absolutely. And also the ultimate situation, that the way they've been able to utilize the utility. Now, I kind of appreciate the fact that Optimistic have been very trying to try out different things. This time we saw how IonQ, as well as I believe it was Immutable, who kind of pushed out towards Connector as well. So the fact that they're trying out different things, but it's just not working out, it's just courtesy to firepower from FS Esports.
Exactly. Firepower and timing. I at least appreciate the effort that Optimistic Esports are taking. They're trying to keep things fresh, they're trying to keep things dynamic, trying out new things every round, but where we got an Immutable, just not having any luck at all. 0 frags for those two players up until now. And yeah, they're feeling the absence of them.
0 frags, even I didn't actually check out that. But
yeah.
all right. I feel we've all got bad days, and it's probably just the start of it. It's very fresh, the best of 3 series, just 6 rounds on it. So there's always a potential for a comeback, but then IonQ finds the first frag. Now this can be the start of good things for them. This operator on IonQ is something that can cause a lot of problems. Again, a very default XE that comes your way. A gravity well to kind of suppress that, but that's not going to stop them for long. They've also got a Nebula, and through the Nebula,
oh my god,
this is going to be Kava to find the 3 frags. This is once again a highlight moment that we've got for us. Is he going to push out? Right click, but now IonQ is going to find the frag. First one for Optimistic. What a way to start things off.
What a way to start things off indeed. Kawhi shutting them down. No entry to the B side for you, sir. This is closed for business. We're on holiday. Come again tomorrow. Kawhi sent them back to the next round, back to spawn. Jesus, that's a nasty highlight moment right there. Spraying them down like an absolute Chad.
FS Esports kind of got a little adamant over there, really. I mean, they've got the smoke, you've got the gravity well, there's no need to kind of push out, right? You don't really have information how the defensive setup looks like, but then they still try to force the issue, and that is where Kawhi kind of punishes them for it, right? So they've got a lead, and they can afford to kind of miss these rounds or two, but they always have to be very careful about not missing out a lot of rounds, because IonQ does have the operator right now, which has been dropped, but Kawhi and Immutable, they kind of make up for it.
Yeah, pushing out through smokes, not the best of ideas. Baby God's already got a potential backstab, pushing out of a shot, and he's gonna spray them both down. Optic is with Esports. They're kind of behaving like boa constrictors right now. They find a gap and they seep through it. Okay, I have to admit that even FS Esports, they kind of made some mistakes by pushing out through smokes in this round.
Yeah.
But on the other occasions, all the engagements that Optic Esports were engaged in, they were really calculated, and they came at a timing where FS Esports would just simply not be looking in that direction.
FSC Sports started the game very slow, right? They were calm and collected. And we talked to this about the pre-show as well, the fact that they can make on-spot decisions. But this time, the last 2 rounds, they've tried to be very quick in their aggression, which again works in certain cases. But this time, it certainly isn't working against Optimistic, because INQ is continuously getting those tracks with the operator, establishing man advantage. They're not getting information. They're trying to force the issue every single time. And getting no information and trying to battle it out kind of shifts the favor towards your opposition. Why would you even want to do that? Again, FC Esports, they have sort of given out the sound cues towards mid as well, that they are trying to venture that, but they've got the Nebula to kind of stop them progressing further deep into it. A shot has been left completely open, so this is very interesting, but Immutable is in a nice position. He can flash them and take them down.
Oh, switcheroo. They throw the flashes towards a shot, but then they go towards mid-market instead. Easily overwhelming Baby God with their superior numbers. Oh, not the best recon out, but hey, it's okay. There was nobody in the backup side to reveal anyway, so that recon out is absolutely fine. They have the Nebulas to cover their passage into the site, the spike just about crossing, but Cortez still winning out the engagement. There's nobody to heal him, but that's completely okay. Advantage now lies in the hands of FS Esports, or does it? Immutable getting his second frag off the game, kicking things off. The fragment is going to hold off anyone who's towards B main, but his teammates need to move in. Pressure comes through as Fox, he tries to press onwards. Immutable continuing to pop off, finally getting some frags in his favor. And now the last 2 attackers have been cornered, but there could be a backstab in the form of Cortez coming in through mid. Fox accounts for it, and that is Team Optimistic Esports finally stringing together 3 rounds in a row.
This round had Immutable written all over it, right? Right from the start of it, right from the start of the retake. That ultimate was so crucial in that situation, Crips. But just imagine this, right? You've got the site for yourself. You've established those post-on positionings. You've got those crossfire set up. You're just trying to play on the back of your flashes. You've got proper utility set up as well. And then suddenly a KO decides to pop off his ultimate, and now your entire crossfire situation is just guns pointing straight at you, and there's nothing else that you can back on. And I love the fact that the players from Optimistic, they communicated so well with each other, because they kind of knew how to break those crossfires, isolate the duels one by one, and that sort of resulted them in winning that round 3-6. This has been an amazing comeback so far, and this can just be the start of a huge performance from them. Once again, you can see that FS Esports are starting to return back to the defaults, not move forward for their aggressive pushes, trying to get information and trying to sort of think about the issue of a little further. But I feel like Optimistic are now conditioned to it. They're also reading along with Team FS Esports and are I don't really remember the physics term that you call it, but nevertheless, you've got 2 trades happening already. INQ is already popping off with the operator. So yes, things are happening. The ultimate...
Oh my god. It at least tags up the other player. Dominic not able to accomplish what he wanted, but he got his team into the site, and I guess that's what they'll be happy with for now. They paid a price for it. They lost goalie and Badman in the process, but can they hold on? 3 versus 4. Odds not looking completely in the favor of FS Esports, but hey, at least Fox, yeah, he will not be able to do anything. His lockdown is not ready. Cortez puts up a lockdown of his own, and that kind of forces them to either fall back or push onwards before the lockdown. It's been broken, but Cortez it gets at least 1 frag from beyond the grave. Won't be able to win the round, but a consolation is all that he gets.
Yeah. The physics term that I was talking about initially, it was resonance. So why I want to talk about that, because I feel like now Optimistic, they've sort of gotten conditioned to FS style of play so much that they're reading their play even if they're not seeing them, right? So what happens in resonance is that when one object vibrates in a particular frequency, the other object beside it all starts vibrating at that particular frequency, and that produces the effect that is known as resonance. And that is exactly what I want to talk about. Like, you can see FS vibrating in a certain way, and Optimistic, they're reading those vibrations and are also start vibrating their own way. So that is one physics reference that I wanted to pull in. You know, I top my class.
Well, Salty definitely vibing in the physics class. All this utility can probably get a kill through the Nebula, but Dominic already starting things off. Where we got hoping to get lucky with his spray, but he ends up losing HP instead. Nothing can stop FS Esports from planting the spike right now. Maybe the retake is not going to be as easy for Optimistic, but they'll try. They've got the lockdown available.
Yeah.
Luckily for them, Kohli doesn't have a Hunter's Fury, so they can utilize it.
They surely can, but this Astral Divide is going to stop a lot of that push coming through. I mean, even if there's a lockdown, I mean, it definitely is going to force the issue for them. Most of the players will have to stop. But they've got a really nice lineup, right? Is it going to break it? Not really. No.
Yeah,
wait,
it does
break it.
The shock dart broke the lockdown. It's perfect. And they're holding the cross angles towards the edge of this Cosmic Divide. So many kills in the matter of a second. FS Esports completely dismantling this retake from Optimistic. Oh my lord, that is Kohli's finest shock dart lineup. Somebody send this to Average Jonas.
Wait, tell me something, Crips. Like, is this default? Like, I haven't really seen these shock dart lines before. Like,
that's exactly why I said send these to Average Jonas. He'll verify them for you. The authenticity.
Damn. Kohli working behind, right? I mean, this was something which was very unique. I didn't really imagine that without the Hunter's Fury, he would be able to kind of break that lockdown. But he was like, I don't really need a Hunter's Fury. It's an ultimate that I used to kill people. I need shock darts to kind of break that.
You saw it from the perspective of Dominic. He was holding the angle just on the side of that Cosmic Divide, and from that you could see the shock darts bounce off of Generator, fly all the way beyond the wall and land straight on that lockdown. Perfectly calculated. IonQ though, he's angry, he's furious. Badman puts his fury to rest, and Dominic continues to pop off. This man is unstoppable today.
Dominic clicked 2 heads in a matter of seconds. Vibe God though does find one. The operator. Not as effective in the hands of Immutable as it is in the hands of IonQ, but that's fine. 8-4. We've had a half for ourselves, Scripts, on the map of Ascent. Now, FS, they played brilliantly at the start of it, but I feel like there was a nice comeback coming in, but they also recovered at the fag end of it to kind of restore that 4-round lead that they have right now. They can work on the basis of it, but Optimistic Esports, they are now on the attack. They're the ones who kind of dictate the pace of the game right now. So I want to see what they bring on the table. With IonQ on board, do they start aggressing as fast as FS did? Or do they take things down slow and steady? Think about their actions.
Well, they probably will vibe along with what their enemies are thinking.
It was very interesting that a double duelist lineup was playing for information, and now I want to see what a double initiator lineup does. Sure, they're going to play for information. Sure, they can get information from both the ends of the map. They can use the recon darts to get some information towards the A side, some knives maybe towards the B side as well. Fox, very, very close with Cortez. Taking things up close and personal, but they've already made their way towards the A side. That was just a bait. The spike is towards the A side, but they're yet to kind of venture through it. B side is completely open, but that's fine. They can rotate pretty quickly enough. So,
I mean, they don't want to let Foxes that go in vain. First of all, Cortez pushing out that early, that deep into B main. I mean, he had no business doing that. I don't even blame Cortez for pulling out the turret at that time. Nobody would have expected such an aggressive push. So, because now Cortez saw so many players, or rather the lack of players towards B main, he's probably going to tell his team that they're heading towards the A side. So they're like, yeah, let Fox at least his death be a good bait.
Yeah, absolutely. But then again, nothing of that sort happens. Flashes come through as well. These players try once again to kind of move forward. IonQ dashes in. B2 still stuck in this position. Kawa is just going to knock his head off. IonQ finds another frag for himself, but 3v4 situation. Again, Optimistic trying to brute force their way into the side. They've got the side for themselves. Backstabs coming through, but again, that's not going to help. This is very surprising because I kind of thought that FS Esports had control of the side. They paid the respect, but now they're paying the price for it as well.
Yeah, but this price is paid in time, and it keeps on ticking. FS Esports must work faster. They know for a fact that there's a couple of players right around the corner, and they have done a good job of dealing with them. Kohli still getting the frags that he needs, and with that, they now know that the last 2 players are in the site itself. One of them will be suppressed. Immutable reveals his position, all the information required, but the trade's not there. And that's Optimistic Esports buying themselves a lifeline, keeping the score lines intact with winning this pistol and hoping they can carry the momentum forward, win the next 2 rounds as well. If they can get it to 8-7, that would be great.
Batman had that star available for himself, so it's very surprising that when he spot immutable, he didn't really deploy it. Or most of the time when we see players going for a retake in the B side of Ascent, we kind of expect at least one star to be deployed near that boathouse region, either to smoke it off or probably utilize a gravity well so that you can expose the players hiding behind it, right? Because that's a very nutty corner and that can cause you a lot of problems in the retake. That didn't happen. The star is still there. You can see that on Batman. That is the star which was available last round. So that probably caused them to not break up that crossfire that was established already. But this round, once again, you can see something, a slow, steady action happening. Dominic missed that first shot, instead gets dinked himself.
Jesus. I have to admit that Dominic, he peeked so wide. He literally run and gunned that corner. I'm sorry, not Dominic, Ayanti, I mean.
Yeah.
Literally, Milka Singh peeked that guy, dude.
What is a Milka Singh peak?
It's like Ferrari peak, but, you know, a little more desi, a little more rugged.
Yeah. A nice term coined by Cribs. I kind of love it. But Cortez, once again, kind of pulling off the same shenanigans that he did before. But now Fox is sort of aware. He knows what are the consequences of letting your guard down. And Anaswam, not really helping. I love the fact that he has picked up the shorty. There's also the turret present, so he is dead. He's hell-bent on taking Fox's life right at the start. But Fox, again, just like you mentioned, the Milka Singh peak comes through and it takes down 2 players.
Oh my god, yeah. That term isn't going anywhere for a long time. But look at this guy. IronQ's already just on the tip of the entrance of Defender Spawn. He can probably backstab them already. I mean, the players of FS won't even expect a person coming in this late from Defender Spawn. They get thrown off guard by it anyway. And then the shock dart kill on top of it. Just rubbing salt into their wounds. Optimistic Esports finally able to fight back.
Dude, shock darts have been nutty throughout the game, and that's something which I can't really digest how good these players are with the shock darts.
Yeah, both Kohli and Webigod have been doing a really good job of it. Of course, Kohli having the cape of his life. 16 frags already, almost 2 KD.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, 6-8. We kind of thought that this would be a steamroll from FS Esports, but they've managed to kind of counter it well. Fox once again, just like you mentioned, Graves, Milka Singh peak. But this time, B2 is the one who actually gets Fox down, and that peak, again, not really working right from the start of it. But this time, Optimistic kind of tried different things. They did go for an aggressive peak towards B, but they've mostly resorted to getting more real estate towards the mid region, trying to get information, trying to get as much map coverage as they possibly can. Now, INQ is deep into enemy territory. Kawhi finds a first frag. Look at this. Dominic versus INQ is well set up, but the timing.
Wow. Do you think he checked
And now
it?
B2. And now B2. He's not
no, I saw
looking.
him.
It wasn't really of any use. He finds a kill. Batman though is in sight. He probably knows that an impending A push is coming, but from which side or which territory, that is the question. Dominic and Webigod find the kills for themselves. Smokes can't really cover anything. The spike is definitely gonna go down, but how is this retake gonna be orchestrated? That is the question, because one play coming in from heaven, one play coming in from doors, a very default setup. How can they make it a little twisty, a little crunchy, a little crispy, or do they save the weapons?
I guess saving isn't the worst idea. They know for a fact that even if they win this round, Optimistic Esports will be able to afford weapons in the next round anyway. They might as well as just save their weapons, you know, if it means giving them a better chance in the next round. But they still go for it. Shock darts don't really get them the kill, but at least now they know that there's one person in hell. Well, they can keep that information with them. He gets triple peak, bro. There's no way Kohli wins that engagement. Gets a kill at non-Webigod, so that's a bit of a sore diff over there, but hey, no chance that he wins the round. Optimistic Esports, they got the first 3 rounds of this half on the verge of tying scores up. And FS Esports have an eco, so definitely they have a great chance of taking this to 8-8.
That second's hesitation kind of ran down the clock much now that they don't really get enough time to probably think straight. They probably thought that should be safe, but then went for the retake. That wasn't really supposed to happen. Time was being wasted. Anyway, this time FS, they're gonna start on pistols. Don't really have that luxury to fire straight at the opposition right now. I really want to see how the defense works this time. Do they kind of stack up on one side, or do they try and pick the issue one by one? Of course, INQ finds the first frag, but he's yet to kind of brute force the opposition. Now, we've seen this so far, Krebs, that the discipline that we get to see from these players in that eco rounds is great, right? They've got the weaponry, but they still don't want to lose it, because this is the round for them to lose, not for the opposition to win.
Exactly.
So
And I'm surprised that FS Esports are playing it in a very slow fashion too. I would have expected something more fast-paced from them.
you don't really want to take away from the profits that you can possibly reap from this particular round, right? If you can potentially win it, it's of no use to kind of throw it away. Kohli gets the first nice frag on him. He's also got some sort of information as well. Sure, he's been suppressed, but he's got enough profit out of that poverty weapon that he possesses.
Oh my God. Hey, I mean, they aggress at the right time, so that's there. And I was just talking about it. I love the discipline from them. They know when to aggress, when to fall back.
30 seconds left.
Got the kill away with murder and no trades, so that's perfect. Iron Q now dead in the grave, and the only silver lining that Optimistic Esports have is that that weapon from Iron Q's hands has not been recovered yet. So FS Esports don't have all that much firepower. Optimistic already getting into the ace side, but they haven't cleared out this corner. Dominic now chewing down on Kawhi. That cleared out so many avenues, and Kohli denying them any positions. That's amazing. Fox now left in a corner, has a massive job to pull off, and he's already done half of it. Can he
There's a weapon.
the rest? And he's peeking every angle with precision. He knows exactly where Kohli is. The sound was heard. One more clutch from Fox. And this guy, I have no idea what Foxes say, but this guy roared in this round.
Absolutely. I breathed a sigh of relief over there, because, like, it was a 1v4 situation, dude. It was literally a 1v4 situation from where Fox recovered the round and gifted them. I cannot imagine that FS Esports kind of slipped so hard. They slipped so hard. Like, they almost lost that round. But Fox, losing that battle towards mid, getting that ultimate timing correct, getting the planter, everything was working like a script. But once again, Fox was like, nah, I've got the weaponry, I can kind of recover it. Very interestingly enough, a lot of those recovered weapons also couldn't really do much. So you can't really kind of, talk about the clutches, eco round clutches and all that stuff. It was
Let's go! Another lockdown denial, but this time it doesn't break. Oh, it just about pops through. Not enough damage dealt as the shot just lands a little to the left of the box, and denying that chip away.
Yeah.
Well, they got the side clear. Plant already has come through. Fox died in the process, but hey, his lockdown cleared out the space, so he's done his job.
There's a very nice combination, Crips. You've got the Hunter's Fury, you've also got the Astral Divide. Now, the Hunter's Fury is already activated. Kohli, you can see, has been tagged, will probably be taking down quite a lot. But this is not the Hunter's Fury that I'm talking about. The defensive team has a lot of firepower to deal with. You can see all the trades that are coming in. This is an absolute brawl fest. Beto still managed to find a triple kill on the back of it. 2v3 situation, only one man survives. That's gonna be where we got. Takes down the first one, takes down the second one. It's one man to deal with. I think there's no time.
What?
Brandon finds the kill. Is he gonna find the defuse?
What on earth was this round? You have people killing each other through smokes, through walls, through lockdowns. All hell broke loose, and this is what it results in. Oh my lord, a flurry of frags as both the Reynas. Jesus. B2 did so many impeccable plays in this round. It's not even funny. Popping off on the Empress. And he got 3 kills. Then you got the other players also getting 3 kills in return. Everyone popped off.
I just thought for a moment that VebiGod did enough over there. I couldn't even process every single detail that happened in that round, but trust me, I kind of felt like VebiGod did just enough, 0.17 seconds, but this round has started off quick with 1 kill already.
And even though Badman got that stylish kill through the wall, let's be honest, he also got tagged in return, so that could have been a death right there. B2 though doesn't need any walls. He's got direct line of sight right onto Fox's forehead. That's at least a smart thing they're doing. They're throwing the guns off of the max, so you know, the players who just got that kill with the eco weapon Marshall, they can't upgrade to the Vandal. That's at least a good thing.
INQ waiting for that perfect timing once again. I guess we are preparing ourselves for another slogfest. You've got a KO ultimate, suppresses everybody, but B2 is in position. The Marshal doesn't connect. First off, there are more shots to come. Immutable finds him. No sniper action for you. Astral right setup, so Kohli will be denied line of sight with a stinger. I'm not really sure if he needs line of sight already.
Oh, look at that. Look at that. The position that the Sova is holding. This man, where he's got a corner for himself and nobody can check him. And that's going to be a great tool to hold. But it's not like he's going to be able to use it. Kohli and Cortez really don't have any chances of getting into this side. They've got bigger problems to deal with. And they're both isolated, so no trades available either.
Poor Kohli is going to feel the wrath of these 4 players rushing onto him. More so, just INQ rushing onto him and finishing him off. But what a round it has been. Again, what a half it has been.
I know, right?
Optimistic. I didn't really imagine that they would get 6 rounds on a trot and completely overturn the result of the first half. This is... I did not imagine this would happen, but this is happening right in front of my eyes.
I had no idea that this would happen either. Jesus Christ. I mean, I would not have imagined the match to turn out like this, the way it started. FS Esports, they were the ones who got 6 rounds in a row in the first half. And now Optimistic Esports also have a similar start. This is a complete reversal.
Absolutely, and we've seen this quite often, to be honest. Most of the teams who are good on their attacking sides of Ascent, they tend to get a lot of these rounds back to back, but then this is very surprising that we have a complete reversal of cards, right? I mean, 6 rounds for this team, 6 rounds for this team. So very interesting enough, but I kind of felt like FS Esports did enough in the first half. Like a 4-round read is nothing to scoff at. And now the fact that Optimistic can still come back from that situation, I'm not really sure what can stop them. In terms of defense, I don't really think FS is doing anything wrong. It's just that the double duelist isn't doing them much favors, because think about how much of an impact KO had in the defense. He could suppress, he could get information, but this time they're kind of falling short in terms of utility when it actually comes to orchestrate that defense or orchestrate that retake.
Yeah, and not just that, they don't even have the numbers most of the time. When Optimistic Esports hit a side, they hit it with brute force, and they're a lot faster than FS Esports in that matter.
Yeah,
and I guess that pace is something that FS is not really comfortable with. But regardless, both the teams doing really well in their attacking sides, both of them getting a 6-round lead. So that's one pattern that we learned from it. It's surprising how, even though both the teams were able to pull off the same feat, you know, get 6 rounds in the attacking half, you know, in a row as well, they did it in such different ways. I mean, when Optimistic Esports are doing it, they're kind of relying on Immutable's utility and his ability to push off the players of FS Esports away from the common angles and clear a path for his team to get into the site. So when Optimistic Esports get into a site, they don't have all that many kills. They just plant the spike, even if it's at the cost of some of their team members. But FS Esports, whenever they were on the attacking side, they got the kills first, then they planted, and not the other way around.
It's also one of the reasons this is happening that you just mentioned is because FC Esports are more like, you know, paying respects to the opposition. Initially, when you're pushing in, FC Esports would most likely take their players away from the site instead of giving away the kills to the opposition right at the start. They want to play on the back of their retakes. But then here comes the utility play that we are talking about, Optimistic, which kind of deny most of the retake situation. You'll see the last 3 rounds or the last 4 rounds, most of the fight has happened in the retake situation, unlike the first contact situation. And that is because the FS Esports, they like to take away their players from the side. They want to pay the respects. You want to push the side with brute force. All right, the side is all yours. We are going to come back. We are going to come back and we're going to establish a control over it. But that is not happening because of the proper utility dominance that we're getting to see from the side of Optimistic. And this is, I feel, a very trademark situation of which agents you pick. Again, a double initiator composition is just more utility heavy than a double duelist composition. So if FS Esports have to play this correct, if FS Esports have to play the retakes correct, they have to play it on the sheer gun power, which we got to see on one particular round when B2 popped off on the Empress mode, got 3 kills away. But that's just one occasion that we're talking about.
Yeah, and that wasn't even enough to get them the round win.
Yes.
Very patient approach from both the teams this time around. Dominic's already deep inside binary.
Yeah.
With the operator, he probably just wants to hold this angle. He doesn't really have any angles to get away in case they do push him. B2 and this guy, Dominic, both of them have been playing together throughout the entire half. I mean, they always, play on positions where they can get away with a kill or two. So whether it's on B, whether it's on A, these both will always be spotted together. So at least the pairing of the characters remains the same, even though the position is different from the side of FS.
Something which is very important that I've seen a very common composition of the Astra and the KJ playing together, dumping all the utility in one side and the rest of the three players playing another side. Dominic finds one kill right at the get-go, but this time something which I really noticed is that they've spread out the utility throughout the map itself. You can see that KJ, the stars are completely separate, so it doesn't really matter which side or which territory you want to hit, you are going to find some sort of preventive utility, which is going to cause problems. But then again, it's not just a complete stack of utility, which is not going to stop you dead on your tracks.
Oh my god, the recon and the shock darts both are amazing. IQ already low on health, and now he's walking into, and that's something new for the fact that he's gonna try to push the button. Even pushing through the smoke, hoping to redeem
Jump
his
scares.
sins. Batman, yeah, exactly. He gave him a jump scare right there. Oh my lord. Annabelle has no cap on these guys, but Immutable and Kawhi have a horror story of their own. Pull out the script because the time is running out, and they won't have the spike in their hands. They got into the site, but they cannot plant. And that's just so difficult. They run down the clock, and it's the defenders who finally pay the price. I'm sorry, not pay the price. These guys, they get the prize of their patience rewarded.
Yep, the attackers pay the price. But, speaking of jump scares, I feel like Valorant is a much better horror movie that you can watch compared to the modern cinema that you've got to offer. I saw a compilation of these jump scare moments in Valorant. I believe it was on Facebook, and that compilation scared the hell out of me, Crips. Trust me, you don't want to be in those situations.
Well, I'll take your word for it. IMQ is not taking anyone's respect now. He just wants to peek this angle. He's hoping that the other guys also show up. I mean, after all, you will get tunnel visioned if you hold an angle for too long.
The spike's still at base.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like Optimistic Esports have, all that much of a hurry to get into the site. They're just waiting for picks, and it's been a whole minute. A whole damn minute, and nobody has peeked. Even the defenders are not moving an inch.
Yeah. Interesting enough. I mean, it's okay to run down the clock, but it's also not okay to not get anything on the back of the time that you have spent, because at the end of it, it's the attackers who have to kind of rush things out. The defenders will be chilling. And I love the fact that the defenders aren't moving. They're not overthinking about the situation. They're not rotating left and right to kind of find out information, throwing in players in search of information as well. But right now I can see that the 4 players from Optimistic Esports, they're stacked up towards the A side. The read is also nice. You've got 3 players. You've got Astra Utility and 2 duelists. Proper way to stop this push. Will you be able to stop it? B2 does manage to find 1 kill. Operator, from where we got, finds another one. Batman is in a nice position. B2 is going to find Kawhi as well. So a lot of these kills going their way, and the 2 attackers, they are now in 2 different worlds. One in A, one in B. Fox will try to get the kill, but Goalie destroys the skull.
10 seconds left.
I mean, I'm not sure if this is FS Esports really doing a good job, or it's just Optimistic Esports falling apart right here. I mean, they had such a good lead up until now, 6-1, and then 1 tactical timeout came through. FS Esports, all they're doing is just hitting the brakes really hard. They're not pushing out, they're not giving away any opportunities for Optimistic Esports to get any picks. And you can see that Optimistic Esports are also getting desperate, right? They lost one of the rounds because they waited too long to find a pick, and they never got it. As a result, the clock ran out, and FS Esports won the round by default. This time again, a similar story happened. At least they were able to get into the site this time around, and they all died. But, when you're rushing into site with like 20 seconds left and you have to plant, and then when you start to plant, they throw out all the utility to delay it. That is just so annoying. And that's exactly what's happening with Optimistic Esports right now. So,
contrary to what they did initially, you mentioned just now that Optimistic Esports, they don't really care about, losing a few of the players in the process. They just want to plant the spike right at the start of the round. And now they're taking things slow. They're not really pushing out. They're not really getting information. Suddenly they've changed things when it was working so long, which doesn't really make a lot of sense to me.
I mean, they're trying definitely a lot of new things, but not with the same amount of success each time.
Exactly.
I wonder what they have planned for us this time around. FS Esports haven't really changed all that much. They're still not putting too much attention on mid, just keeping Reina present over there, who also I assume will be moving towards A or B depending on wherever higher pressure is there. Just gonna let the alarm bot guard the mid region and then probably just play off the ping pong setup that they have right now.
Optimistic haven't really ventured towards midway too much, so that's something I don't really think they would need to kind of wonder about. But this time we've got a 5-man stack towards A lobby. I wonder what they're trying to look out for. One player has been tagged. IronQ is going to push out. Jumps gets to the smoke, but IronQ is going to find the frag. Success for the attackers is they pushed through all of the preventive utility that has been set up, but they are yet to find frags for themselves. But the spike is going down exactly that we planned for. Rush into the side, plant the spike, and get into positions as quick as possible. Better be quick.
Yeah, and the best part is there's no defensive utility that can push these players out of the angles that they're holding. The shot shots of Kohli have already been used up. Dominic and Cortez, I mean, what can they possibly do? There really offers nothing. IronQ is already holding off angles, and as they try to push through heavens, they'll be guillotined. Cortez and his fellow teammates applying some pressure towards Tree, but then a counter flashes in return, to which they can't respond, and Fox gets a couple of kills for himself. Will they even let Kohli get away with the op? He's getting chased down like a hound. Always look both ways before you cross the street, kids. Fox comes in like a truck and he runs over Kohli, stealing all his goods, his op, and his life.
5-star heat levels on NFS Most Wanted.
That was a damn good game, though.
It was. Brings back memories, but this time, I mean, to be honest, for FS, I feel like against this strategy of Optimistic, it's really hard kind of set yourself up, right? They can do either of two things. They can either stack up a particular site with all 5 players and can either plan to stop them dead on their tracks while they're brute forcing their way in, or they have to play it completely on their retakes. They can't do both at once. They can't split the defense because you've seen how fast IronQ is pushing. There's no way he can deal with that particular pace. He plants a spike, or rather aids his teammate to plant the spike, and they get to postal position in a matter of seconds. And considering the amount of utility, or considering the type of utility that FS Esports possess, it's not very favorable for you in a retake situation, especially when you don't have the ultimates available like the Astral Divide or the Hunter's Fury or the Lockdown. Your Reina and Jet abilities don't really do all that much.
But that sounds like such a gamble, na, Salty? I mean, if you're telling them that they either stack aside, that's a gamble. If you're telling them to play on the retake, that's again a big gamble. I mean, the regular options are just simply not there.
That is what the con comes of playing a double duelist composition. Now, I'm not really cribbing about a double duelist like an I don't know, like an old person, but okay. No, like an old person, like, you know, they're not acceptable to change. Anyway, I'm not going to talk about age anymore. I feel like I don't want to crib about a double duelist composition, but it's just the utility that you've got to offer. I mean, your Reina flashes will be broken. Your Jet smokes don't really help you all that much in your retakes. Sure, you can kind of use pace, use the abilities to get kills, but that's how dependent on kills you will be. That's, like I said, FS Esports, they have to play it on the basis of their gun power, and that is exactly what their problem lies right now.
Yeah, I mean, if they're playing very patiently, then what kind of gun power are you even bringing to the table if you're not being aggressive with it? It's kind of defeating the purpose of this thing. Oh my lord, Dominic thought he was safe because of the one-way smoke, but that's just simply not the case. Optimistic dumping bodies at the defense. The lockdown will accomplish absolutely nothing. They've already done whatever they needed. Just go ahead and plant the spike, my dear sirs. The site is wide open for you. There's a backstab coming in the form of Veto and Cortez. A very lonely one at that. But that will be detected by the turret, so I don't think Optimistic Esports have anything to worry about, really.
The friendship of Sova and KO is something which we need to really talk about right now. The Flash as well as Recon, that combination kind of completely took away that one-way smoke, right? I mean, it's a one-way smoke versus a Flash and Recon. What can you potentially do? You don't even need to have your eyes open. Now you've had the Hunter's Fury activated as well. The Odin is not going to help you, my friend Cole, because you won't even get an opportunity to shoot. Probably you will. You've got an ultimate, a null pointer available. Destroys the first skull. It's a 1v2. Cole needs to isolate these frags. Jumps towards generators, exposes one player, Immutable shoots at the back of his head. And that's how Optimistic Esports are going to go to match point. This team was reeling 6-0, but suddenly things have changed. Worlds have turned. It's a new world order, ladies and gentlemen, and Optimistic Esports are the leaders of it.
Yeah, I mean, even though they are in the lead right now, I kind of have to point out that Very God had a little bit of a panic moment over there. He popped his Hunter's Fury in such an awkward spot. I mean, usually you try to line up your targets vertically with the ultimate, right? I mean, you try to tag as many people as possible, but he's using it while he's towards generators, and that's really just a desperation move. And he only popped it because his person towards binary died.
Oh,
Either way, right now, B2, he's getting away with cold-blooded murder right here. Good start for FS Esports.
he
They
had
needed
no
this.
business strolling in that region and getting the kill, getting away with it as well.
That's just B2 doing B2 things.
Yeah.
Stop darts to break any potential Killjoy utility being placed in that corner. Sometimes we've seen, I think, Cortez play towards that angle that Batman is holding right now. Oh my god, what a bait! The player towards the default area got revealed by the recon dart, and as a result, this guy, Dominic, pushed up, and nobody was prepared for that. Even Batman follows up with Guardian kills of his own, and another one. This is perfect. The bait and switch from FS Esports was perfect.
Yep, exactly. I love the setup coming in, right? You get the kill from main, right? And suddenly you kind of expose yourself to all the players coming in from short. Well, no worries. You've got backup over there available as well. FS Esports kind of knew exactly what would happen. They joined the dots even before they happened on the battleground. So this was pre-planned. This was well executed. And they need another of this round to probably have a chance in this game. You kind of mentioned one thing, right? Optimistic. They're not getting away with the game, at least as soon as we thought it would be. But 12-11, it's still another opportunity for Optimistic to close this game even before overtime happens.
Oh yeah, overtime. I mean, we haven't even started discussing the possibilities of that. What do you think? Will this be game over or will this be overtime?
I kind of have a gut feeling this would be game over, but it kind of depends what sort of approach we get to see from Optimistic. Again, they decide the pacing of the game, they decide how the game is going to, they are the attackers, they're the ones who will decide how the round is going to progress. And if they're going to play into FS Esports and their cards, then well enough, we are moving towards overtime. If they do something new which FS Esports can't really read, then voila, game over.
Game over. Also, FS Esports have what it takes to push this game into overtime. They've got 3 ultimates. Only one of them can be really game-changing, though. I believe Kohli's ultimate can turn around the tides of this round much more than the Empress or the Cosmic Divide can. Although, he has to time it really well.
Yeah. Exactly. Now, again, we've seen this happen before as well, right? If Optimistic decide to run down the clock and plant the spike way too late, then that Hunter's Fury can be lethal because you can take down the planter in the process and delay that plant even longer. So that is something that he would want to use it for. But it kind of, again, depends on how Optimistic is playing the round once again. If they go for fast pushes, get the spike planted right on the get-go, then maybe you can use the Hunter's Fury for a retake situation.
Do they want to let this round go to retake, though? I mean, there is a risk. If they're giving away the plant to Optimistic Esports and hoping that the retake works for them, they better make it work, man. You can't have these rounds, with so much risk, especially when overtime is at stake.
Statistics kind of suggest that FS haven't really been that successful for retakes. They've been more successful in stopping dead Optimistic Esports right on their track. So I feel like if they start pushing out maybe the likes of B2, the likes of Dominic can kind of do something outrageous, get themselves a man advantage, discourage Optimistic from getting that fast push from happening. But you can see from the mini map, right? You can see the setup that looks like 4 players to the A side. You've got Fox towards the B to kind of create the diversion. We have seen that happen way too much. But these 4 players, I think they mean business, right? They really want to progress fast enough so that they can kind of overwhelm the players that are there in the A side. And while I kind of like this setup, Astra holding the A main territory, meanwhile 2 players, top-in players coming in from Catwalk. But that's not where the players are. All of them are coming in from A short. Again, kind of creates a trade potential between the Astra and the 2 duelists, but I really want to see how they would like to play this.
So much patience from Optimistic Esports, all of them towards A main, just starting to venture towards high mid. And if they try to go down this region, then potentially they'll run into B2 and Dominic, once again holding the A short region like you pointed out. Although, once again, the minute has passed, nothing to show for it. I mean, if you're going to run down the clock and not get anything off of it, the least you can do is bait out the utility from FS Esports.
Yeah.
Just make them run out of all the tools that they need to stop any pushes. And then when you actually do push, they will have nothing to delay you or disrupt you. So they're not even doing that. And that's the most negative part about Optimistic Esports setup right now. At least they're going towards B side, so hopefully if they've decided something. They'll be trying to fake towards A with the drone, but will they buy it? I'm not really sure. Kohli already popping off his ultimate. Kinda tells you that FS know where this is headed already. So the fake wasn't really sold.
Yeah, it tried to be a very convincing fake. The Astral Divide was also popped in, but that's not going to help them anymore. Of course, the Nanostorms is going to push the players back towards CT, but Cortez and Dominic get two back. This is well done. Still very well positioned towards Boathouse. He's not letting the side get away any soon. One player still surviving. We are moving to overtime, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, we are.
Most likely. And there you go. Oh my lord. Well, this was such a tragic round from Optimistic Esports. They tried their best, man. I mean, they used the Cosmic Divide, they used the drone to sell the fake, but if you're not committing bodies to the fake, then there's no way that you'll be able to sell it.
Yes, exactly. I mean, it was a pretty blank fake, to be honest, because you did try to go for that drone. The Astral Divide was set up as well, but I mean, it is FSC Esports. They've played their game so far. They know exactly what's happening. There's no presence, because if Optimistic would have wanted to go execute the A side, they would have done it right at the get-go, right? When they throw in that knife, the knife point from the KO, and when they throw in the recon dart, we have seen patterns of players following up. And when players don't, you kind of understand that, well, this is a fake.
Yeah, I mean, it was telegraphed. FSC Sports have become good at reading minds with that. Well, this time they're at least taking initiative. Optimistic Esports not looking to back down from a fight towards mid. No smokes to cover their, adventure either, so they can continue going on. But Rebigod has the big guns over here. And the Shock are also doing quite a lot of damage. This guy is on the verge of a massive kill spree, but he gets killed before he can even begin. Batman and B2 clearing up the B site. Finally should be able to go for the plant. All the defenders gearing up outside of Market, and Kohli has his eyes pierced out. B2 has his skull pierced out. They are clearing up this area. All the delaying tactics are being used by the members of FS, but there's not much that can happen. So many smoke plays, a Cloudburst and then a Nebula. Immutable was on the verge of a free kill, but at least the Jet is in a safe position now.
I'm not really sure if it's very safe. Dominic missed a few shots. Immutable shuts him down, but Iron has been taken down. It's a 1v2 situation. Batman finds the first kill. Not really a lot of HP. Time is running out. The defuse. He's taking it, and he's not faking it anyway. Kawhi gets the frag as well to rub in salt in the wound. This was one hell of a retake. They mowed down the opposition piece by piece, and there's no way FSC Esports could stop that.
So when Immutable threw down his fragment nade, the sound of that fragment covered up the sound of Kawhi stick in the defuse. And add to that, someone was already fighting at the same time. So you're busy engaging with the duel. You will never hear the defuse being stuck over there.
It's a comedy of errors for FSC Esports right now, and well, they're backed against a wall. What can they potentially do? Now on defense, we have seen they've been successful. It was on the defensive side when they won the 4 rounds to kind of bring this to overtime. So they still have that potential, but Optimistic Esports, they look like they mean business at this point. I don't think they're going to let away FSC Esports take a big chunk of their equity and not really invest in a lot of money. You know, a Shark Tank is really popular right now, so like I had to pull up the show.
I mean, I don't know, man. The American Shark Tank hit different. The Indian one, not gonna lie, you got people coming in and selling kulfi over there. So like, what even is going on? And I was just so disappointed with that kind of stuff. I was like, screw this. Just watch Valorant. It's got all we need.
Absolutely. 3 more seconds.
And here we go.
Yes, sir. Optimistic. Really fast this time, not really wasting any time, right? They know this is going to be a head up. INQ once again deploying the smokes to get towards generators. This is telegraph. This has happened every single time, but little do they know that Dominic is in position. He has been very illegal. Dominic wraps him up
and sends him home. Gift wrapped. Santa came early this year. Anki was able to get into its generator by using his dash and his cloudburst, but the rest of his team really couldn't follow up. They were hoping that IronQ would cause some havoc and all the members of FS would focus kind of towards him, but that just simply did not happen. Dominic on top of that corner over there, mowing down people, raining down hell from the sky. And with this, we are going into yet another overtime. I have a prediction to make. I think this game is going to go to 3 overtimes.
3 overtimes. Well, we've seen one already. FS Esports trying to pull a page out of Optimistic's playbook. IronQ missing that shot, which is very unlikely. B2 find the frag. Dominic using the cloudburst to get into side. Overwhelming Immutable. Yes, he finds the frag. Okay, so the defense is now crumbling down.
Oh no. Can't even fall back, poor guy. Defense indeed is crumbling, and even if they were trying to get away with their losses, they can't cut it short.
The Odin might possibly make a difference. Yeah, only by 1, but that's about it. 1v4, a lockdown.
Oh my god.
Mind you, Fox is probably the best player in this situation, gonna bring it back. He did manage to win a 1v4 before, but this time it's not happening.
But like, imagine doing enough damage in an overtime to farm up your ultimate.
Switching sides.
And
Yes.
this has happened twice. In the first overtime, when Optimistic Esports was able to win their round, Kawhi got enough points to use his Cosmic Divide. This time, he got his lockdown. Using a lockdown to hold off one player. It's a bit of an overkill. Kind of like, you know, crushing an ant with a boot. But hey, you do whatever it takes. Maybe FS Esports can shut this game down right here after all.
Dude, to be honest, against Fox, you do need an insurance policy because
Yeah, not gonna lie, yeah.
So once again we start off, but this time towards the B side. Drones exchange. Of course, they're gonna face each other, but Dominic is gonna face Fox and shut him down completely. This was not telegraphed, but again a trade comes in through. Nice work.
And while they're busy focusing towards B main, these people have already snuck through B market. IronQ already starting to look so dominant over here, but the defenders still have a few things to say. Badman now trapped in a 1v2. Spike hasn't been planted just yet, so he can probably isolate those kills. Nah, but they're playing all together. He's gonna have to face them all at once, unless WebbyGod offers a free 1v1.
No stars available. No utility. No, probably he has one.
Oh my god.
Bringing
Oh,
all
them
them back.
back. Yeah, but you'll run out
Will
of
he have
time
the
by the time you're able to deploy them.
Position revealed. Both players in boathouse can potentially cover those entry points, but then, yeah, man, like, yeah, he was way too optimistic at that point, ironically, but well, Crips, probably right. We are.
Third overtime is here.
Yeah, we are into a third overtime. But then again, look, like I don't really understand IronQ's nose of steel over there. He was battling against Arena, but he still managed to dash towards Switch, get immutable in that situation. This is crazy. Not immutable, I believe it was somebody else. It's probably Kohli.
Do you think this will go into a 4th overtime?
Nah, dude, like it's
Nah.
way, it's a bit of a long shot at this point. You can't really predict what's gonna happen, considering that both the teams are at neutral venue. They're both exchanging shots. They're both exchanging good rounds against each other. It's mostly both the teams, you know, playing into their necks.
Take a look at the minimap for just 1
Yes.
second. They're pushing up through mid-market already, and IronQ is ready to defend this. The rotation's also already here. There's 3 defenders present in this location. A completely covered with Astra and Killjoy utility, so no rotations required. Optimistic Esports are good to hold this as they are. And any attempts to come through towards the B side will be halted immediately. Even the spike's been dealt with. Kohli managing to come through, but WebbyGod has his number.
Cortez stuck in a 1v3 situation. Of course, a huge responsibility lies on his shoulders. We'll need to isolate all the frags and win them spots where WebbyGod gets that information, but also information has been relayed of where Cortez is and what is his intentions.
Oh my god, if he can sneak through market, that will be Pog. They do expect this, but only one of them, and if he can win this duel against the Killjoy, then he can go all the way back up mid and then come probably through a shot, but all the theory crafting is of absolutely no use. Fox will delete him right here and now.
Switching
I
sides.
love the fact that they got both the territories, right? They got CT as well as mid, just like you mentioned. It's not a fluke that they managed to win that round. It was well telegraphed, but Optimistic winning the defensive side of things kind of makes things a little easier for them, because on attacking we've seen that they are very much potent in trying to execute this A side. With IronQ dashing forward, it's kind of understandable what they're trying to, what they will do, but then you can see that on the minimap they're not moving towards the A side. So this is something which is new.
I mean, in last round we saw how the players of Optimistic Esports had like a massive line of Killjoy and Astra utilities placed on the A side, kind of like a highway of death. That's the most standard pathing that FS Esports were taking, but FS have nothing of that kind. I mean, the utility hasn't even been completely deployed. It's just one alarm bot towards mid and like 3 Astra Stars which can be deployed at will. And Optimistic Esports once again falling for the same trap, not getting anything out of the time that they're spending.
It's very interesting that they're not moving towards mid. They're not trying to take that territory. They're just holding it down, just waiting for backstabs to come in. And FS Esports are very disciplined. They're not going for backstabs in search of information. We have seen a very big information void so far. Drones being exchanged, the recon darts being broken down. Every single... I feel like there's just one knife point that revealed the position of the arena, and that was basically it. Apart from that, FS Esports are completely clueless of where or which particular site is Optimistic hitting.
Yeah, but that's okay. I mean, if FS is clueless, that's completely alright, man. At this point, even Optimistic is not sure where they want to go. They're trying their luck towards mid-market, but with 20 seconds left, they have to get through all this ability, break the door, and nothing is going in their favor. FS Esports are just shutting them down. In the dying embers of this match, the desperation moves from Optimistic Esports, they have left a lot to be desired. Can they somehow kill this Astra, still stuck inside the side, who's just trying to buy time? Batman, if he can keep this guy alive for just 2 more seconds, he'll probably design the plant. Oh no, but the plant will happen nonetheless. And maybe not. Dominic and B to push them while they're vulnerable. And that is yet another overtime. A 4th one.
It was a favorable situation because even though it was a 2v3, there was only one player inside. That was Batman. Now, all that Batman had to do was to just buy enough time so that reconnaissance had come in. Just look at this. You had players coming in from CT, you had players coming in from A main. All those players could have wrapped around the entirety of the attack, and that is exactly what Batman allowed them to do, right? Just held them for long. Yes, he did die, but he held his position in boathouse and did not give away his kill. Had he given his kill earlier, those players from the attackers, they could have gone into post-on positioning, set up crossfires, walla, and that round could have gone in their favor. But once again, because of his patience over there, we move on to yet another overtime, 15-15. This has been very long so far. Baby God starts things off quick. Fox with the Nana Swarm, well timed, well placed. He finds B2.
And that was in combination with the gravity well as well. That's what Optimistic Esports are doing really nicely. The one pathing that the attackers can usually take from the start of A main towards the planting area where, you know, they're covered by the default box. Sometimes you'll see the Astras place the walls in a way where only that part is left. Yeah, that entire region is covered with utility and immutable splashes are perfect, but only getting one from them. Kohli kind of had to bait his teammate in order to get that kill, but IronQ makes him pay the price for it. And Cortez is just toying around with his food, finally getting one kill, but there's so much more left to do. He has to dig the spike out of the lane, and first of all needs to avoid getting perforated with all these bullets that are flying in his direction.
Through the woodworks. I mean, to be honest, at wall, it doesn't even exist. In Valorant,
it's like
wall doesn't exist. Yeah. So, you know, holding that angle, especially when you're when your position is known, doesn't really make sense. But well, 16-15. Not really how long a normal game lasts, but this game lasts longer. I don't really know what I'm advertising for.
Starting to look like a game of CS at this point, and that's what the scoreline is at right now. Either way, Optimistic Esports once again on the attacking side. I really hope for their own sake that this time they don't fall prey to all the patience that they've been displaying so far, which has been counterproductive, to be honest. I hope they get something done. Even if they lose their members, it's fine. Please gather information, do stuff. But nothing. You know,
not
that
yet.
meme that exists on the internet, you know, when you poke something.
Do
with a stick.
something!
Do something. Yeah, exactly. That's me poking at Optimistic Esports right now.
But it's very risky because once again Dominic is in that position on top of the boxes. Now we've seen last time what happened when Optimistic tried to brute force, right? Nobody checked Dominic's position. Dominic got a 3K and completely won the round for his team. Once again, Optimistic moving towards the same site with at least they've got a little more time on the clock right now. Positions will be revealed. INQ once again using his cloudburst, but this time Immutable checks Dominic's corner. So he's gonna find the frag. Of course, second one comes in through the smoke as well. So 3 players versus 4. Things are looking favorable for them, Crips.
Yeah, this was supposed to be a carbon copy of the previous round with Dominic holding the exact same angle and you doing the exact same dash. But this time they check it out and Immutable is, you know, learning from his mistakes. So with this, Optimistic Esports finally have a chance to end the game right here. IonQ does get revealed, but he will be safe. Doesn't get spammed through the wood, so more time he stays alive, the more time that Optimistic Esports have. Cortez, now the last man standing, already getting peppered. Finds his first spray. Everyone else towards his bottom, but this is a crossfire that he's not prepared to handle. Jumping straight towards Generator and jumping straight to his death. Fox wins the final fight and gives his team the edge.
This was really well fought, to be honest, because I did not imagine this would last this long. Kudos to the teams, kudos to the players, to be honest. Though the performance they've put up throughout this map of Ascent. There were times where we thought that this team is dominating, the other team is dominating, Optimistic dominating, wala. But then at the end of it all, if you look at the overarching picture, Cribs, you probably would find a lot of similarities, a lot of patterns which kind of existed, and I feel like the patterns sort of collide against each other just because how good both these teams were.
Yeah, sometimes they did make some questionable plays, not gonna lie, but for the most part, their approaches were good. I like the fact how they were able to, just adapt to each other's approaches. Of course, this
Very
adaptation
quickly.
was very particular to the opponent that they were facing, so it doesn't account for, it doesn't speak about their overall adaptability against the other teams as well. But I think we can point out more about these patterns once we look at the highlights.
Yep. Let's have a look at the highlights, ladies and gentlemen, because of course we've had a long game and I'm pretty sure the highlights are going to be long as well. Now, we started things off with Optimistic, not really finding their groove, right? FSE Esports, they were doing a lot of good stuff in spite of the fact that there were kills happening. This was the first round where we saw a 1v1 happen. There were performances coming in from, I believe it was Kohli. There was another player, I believe it was Kawai as well from Optimistic. Performances did come in, but it was very close right at the start. But then again, slowly and slowly, FSE Sports got in the groove. They started dominating and they started winning round after round. And I honestly didn't really imagine, especially after that 6-0 start of the game, that this game would go to like 4 overtimes.
Exactly right. Both the teams doing so well in their attacking half. I mean, their executes were perfect. Nobody was able to deal with them. So that kind of tells you everything you need to know about the attacking side of these teams. They came into this game with a good plan and they were able to make that plan work as well. It wasn't until 6 rounds in either half that their opponents were finally able to adapt and overcome. But when they did improvise, it just paid off so many dividends. It made the match go on for so long. Oh my god, I love the way how these teams are adapting to each other, but sometimes the pacing was there, sometimes it wasn't, and that is just the way how this game was. Kind of all over the place, but at the same time held together by the
Exactly.
patterns and the storylines.
I mean, just like you mentioned, didn't really see a lot of variation apart from the timing of the attacks, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes we got to see attacks right at the start of the round when it's like about 10 seconds into the round itself. Sometimes it's 10 seconds on the clock when we get to see the plant happening.
Exactly.
So we have seen both ends of the spectrum in this. And that was the only thing, that was the only variation that we got to see from either of those teams in their attacking sides. Like, we didn't really get to see a change in plans or a change in a plan of action, whether to try and go mid or maybe try and go for double fakes or triple fakes. Not something like, not very complicated things. Just try and change the pace of the game. That's about it.
Yeah, and the few times when Optimistic Esports did try to sell a fake, it wasn't the best one. There was this one round where they committed the Cosmic Divide and the drone, I believe, but it did not matter because FSC Sports knew exactly what was happening anyway. Of course,
Yeah.
this was, something that happened in the second half, though. But there was some really cool highlight moments in the first half, like this one. The shot that I was talking about? You can see it
Yeah.
from Dominic's POV right here. It just flew across the generator, bounced off of it, and then straight up destroyed the lockdown. So that saw supremacy from Kohli was perfect. This guy had 9 kills in the first 3 rounds already. That is ridiculous performance. He's getting triple kill after triple kill. So Kohli popped off in the first half. Of course, the second half, he wasn't able to deliver as much impact as he did in the first half. So that's kind of why his team was struggling to close the game. And they weren't able to do it in the end. Optimistic Esports got away with the win.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you look at the start of the next half, you'll find out that Optimistic were really kind of showing their supremacy, and that mode of attack where INQ uses his double cloudburst to kind of dash in towards generators and the rest of the players following back on him, that kind of worked for 6 back-to-back rounds. Yes, for one round I believe they kind of exploited mid, but that's about it, right? And a single strategy working out for so long, it just goes to show how well Optimistic have practiced this behind the scenes as well, because you need that level of communication to execute that fast of a tactic in a match situation and do it successfully for 6 back-to-back rounds. It needs a lot of effort behind the scenes.
Yeah, on this round, though, I have to point it out. The fragment from the KO was just perfect. It covered up the sound of Kawhi defusing the spike, and that's what pushes into the first overtime. But after that, I kind of have a feeling that Optimistic Esports were falling prey to the same thing over and over again. Like in the first overtime, you see how Optimistic Esports went for a very fast A execute, which was shut down by FS Esports completely. And as a result, in every subsequent overtime, Optimistic Esports were really slow to execute. They were, going into the site with 20 or 15 seconds left on the clock. So that is something that they fell prey to. Just because their fast-paced execute didn't work the first time around, they thought that it's a bad idea to do it every time
Yeah.
on their attacking side, which is kind of paradoxical, right? Both these teams were able to win the first 6 round of their attacking side in regulation, but in the overtime, none of them were able to do well on the attacking side. So what is this massive roller coaster of emotions?
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I feel there will be a lot of questions that will be answered in the next maps, of course. You're watching LG Ultragear presents the CC Gauntlet powered by Crucial. Our gaming partner is Intel and our apparel partner is 656. We'll be back after a very short break. Don't go anywhere.
legends of memory and storage. Crucial brings you the ultimate performance in gaming. Legendary products. Precision engineered. For speed and stability. Crucial ballistics.
Hi guys, this is Zaya and welcome to Streamer Reviews, where gaming streamers review the best new gaming laptops. Gamers are an impatient bunch, and I've got a laptop just for you. Let's look at the top 3 reasons why the Acer Predator Helios 300 is perfect for the impatient gamer. Number 1. Its 11th Gen Intel Core i7 processor, which brings out the potential of the GPU's high-speed GDDR6 memory to ensure faster experience with higher frame rates and lower latency. Gamers hate long load times. That's why our second reason is the Helios 300's 2TB PCIe SSD. The SSD operates at PCIe Gen 4 speeds, giving you incredible read-write speeds for a faster response time. If all this wasn't enough, check out reason number 3. The 5th Gen Aeroblade 3D technology plus Vortex Flow, which lets you say goodbye to heating issues. Shout out to the Predator Sense dashboard, which lets you monitor your system, overclock, and customize everything instantly from one place. I think it's clear that this system is geared for super fast results. Get your Acer Helios 300 powered by 11th Gen Intel Core processor now.
From the legends of memory and storage. Crucial brings you the ultimate performance in gaming. Legendary products. Precision engineered. For speed and stability. Crucial ballistics.
Hey guys, welcome back to LG Ultragear presents Tec Gauntlet Season 4, powered by Crucial. Our gaming partner is Intel, and our apparel partner is 6x6. Oh boy, we are done with the first marathon. Sorry, what? I mean, the first map.
Yeah.
And it was a goddamn marathon. You're gonna keep your energy up, and if you want to do that, you need to scan that QR code and get your own Red Bull cans as well. Oh my god, bro, 4
Yeah.
overtimes. You're gonna run out of Red Bull with all that. Man.
Send us more Esports Club. But you know what? I feel like the next map is going to be a place where we might have to see, we might need even more energy because it's going to be Haven. Now, of course, there's a potential chance that Optimistic is going to run away with it with a 2-0 fashion, but there's a very, very high chance of FS coming back in this map. And if that happens, I wouldn't be surprised, of course. But going to Icebox, this is going to test the endurance for the players then.
I mean, I kind of have a feeling Optimistic might be able to shut this game down right here and now on Haven. This is the map pick after all. I mean,
Don't really say that. You don't really say that because I have seen this is the real Custis curse. You say that happen, and we move towards the third map.
oh no. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there a way to put some blessings on this thing instead of a curse?
No,
I want to be a little more
mm.
positive influence in these players' lives.
Not really. I think we just have to move on, Cribs. That's
Okay.
done and dusted.
Oh well, away with the jokes we go. Optimistic Esports about to start with Haven. At least they're starting on the attacking side, and we know for a fact that these guys are very patient on their attacking side. At least they were that way in Haven. I'm sorry, in Ascent. I mean, will they do the same things in Haven? I'm not really sure. I mean, unlike Ascent, Haven is so much more difficult when you have a slow attacking side like that. I mean, sure, slow and steady sometimes wins the race, but you gotta get something out of all that time. You need to either bait out the utility from your opponent's FS Esports or gather enough information. And if you're doing none of that, then you're just kind of making the game harder for yourself. You're setting it on hard difficulty, you know, when the timer is reduced and you have to do everything that you had to do, but with just 1 minute in the round.
Yeah, exactly. Setting it up hard difficulty. But ladies and gentlemen, let's find out what are the agents that are going to be picked on this map itself. Because last time we had a conflict of interest where we had one team picking up double duelist, one team picking up the double initiator. This time, you've got God picking up the Sova right off the get-go. Immutable might pick up the second initiator, might move towards duelist as well. But this time, I love this agent Crips, personally speaking. That chamber.
I'm not gonna speak about him because I know for a fact that IonQ always baits us with this thing. He hovers his mouse over the chamber and the neon deliberately, and then he's like, nah, surprise. So yeah, if the chamber does come through, I will be very happy to see that. B2 on a chamber, I'm not really sure. Maybe Dominic can pull that off. He's the opper. So I haven't really seen B2 op ever before, so I'm not really sure if the chamber is the right pick for him. I've seen him play the Cypher quite a lot on a map like Haven, but if he does go for the chamber indeed, that will be amazing. All right, then looks like we're gonna see some really cool plays from this guy.
Yep, absolutely. Now, you can see double initiative from the side of FS already. This is a change in the plans from the map of Ascent. You have the Jet, you have the Chamber, you have the Astra, you have the Sova, as well as the KO. Now, this is interesting, but again, I'm sort of a big advocate of the KO. Doesn't really matter which map it is. I feel like there's a very big usage of the utility that you can pull off. So, yep, sure, they are going to take that added information.
Okay.
On the other side, you've got Immutable on the KO as well, and Baby got on the Sova. So you've got the similar composition of initiators, both the teams opting for it. Astras will be the default controllers. But on one end, you've got a Chamber. On the other side, you've got a KJ. That is the only difference in the Sentinels. Now, I'm not really sure how much the teleports are going to help them, but for sure, the firepower the Chamber brings on board is going to help them way too much.
I'm gonna be honest, I haven't seen a lot of KO on Haven, especially not when both the teams have picked it up. Just yesterday also we saw 2 maps of Haven, and in both those maps we saw teams picking up Breach on Haven instead of KO. But yeah, at least all of them were going for a double initiator composition, so at least that part is similar. Let's see how these guys take things away.
I'm going to be honest, I kind of think that Sky meta is sort of gone.
Oh, okay.
The Sova and the Sky was the Sova and the Sky was like a very nice date. They were a proper composition together, and they really complemented each other. But I feel like KO brings a completely different dynamic, and if you want to play aggressive, you want to play KO, because to be honest, those birds are, I mean, at least they're difficult for me, and for the players, a pop flash with a KO is just way too much, and the information that you get on the back of that knife, it's so important. But ladies and gentlemen, we roll with the game right at the get-go as we kick things off with Team Optimistic on attack.
Oh my god, and they're already pouring into the seaside. IonQ killing anyone and everyone who tries to stand in their way. Kohli just gets one concentration practice as he peeks out of the smoke, but his teammates can't do anything. The moment they walk out of the smokes, they get their heads blown off their shoulders.
Shot darts to try and deny the plan. That's not happening. 2v4 situation. Of course, practically 2v3 because the jet is quite low, but even then it's quite difficult to connect the shot. The gravity well sucking Batman in.
And then he got triple peaked.
Not really. I'm not even sure how many players peaked him, but I'm pretty sure it's way more than he can handle.
Yeah.
And Kawhi putting the final in the coffin. First round for Optimistic. Good start from them, but something which is probably the most important takeaway from the first round was their fast aggression towards the C side. Don't try to run down the clocks. Don't get information. Just brute force your way.
I kind of have a problem with the lineup that we saw from Kohli this time, though. It detects people towards the edge of a lobby, which is the same thing that the Sova's recon dart does, given Cortez's position. So if both of them are using the utility on the same spot to gather the same information, it kind of defeats the purpose, right? I would rather have Kohli use his knife towards some other region. This time they're going for the same C execute, but there are 4 defenders ready to stop them. IonQ doesn't care. Peeks out. He could have died right there with 3 people shooting at them at the same time, but he still gets away with a kill on Batman. Oh my lord, the cojones on this guy.
This man, his speed is insane, and just like I mentioned, the nerves of steel. He delivers every single time, but I love the fact that Optimistic, they're changing plans. They get spotted towards the A side. They spot that there is a Sova. Probably the jet will back him up as well. Good read from them, but look at Kohli in his positioning. But they detect him. The frenzy, but no, the Classic wins this. This is important because once again, kind of bringing things even 4-4 right now. Flashes are going to pop off, but they've been destroyed. Baby God takes down B2. Another Sentinel taking down. This is going to be very difficult for the defenders right now. Only 4 HP on Kohli. Still trying to make a difference with the Classic.
Oh my god, but will it make a difference at all? Apparently not. The weaponry just too much to handle, and FSC Esports didn't even have all that much HP to begin with. Oof. But at least now we have seen that Kohli's pushes towards the bottom of mid can get FS the information that they need early on. Optimistic Esports went for a double fake in this round. They started showing presence towards C. IonQ got that kill, dashed away. And then they went back towards A, only to rotate back towards C once again later on. Now, usually a double fake like that would have been very effective if Kohli wasn't present over there. His presence, it gave FS Esports a little bit of an early warning. Of course, they were not able to capitalize on it because no HP and no weapons. But if that kind of play happens in a round like this, it will be perfect. So many stars being peppered on the C side, setting up IonQ for success as he dashes into the site, finding it devoid of defenders. Easy plant for Optimistic Esports, and the retake is a 5v5, a very sweaty one.
Absolutely, just waiting for this to start because, again, you can see that the players are in position already through the boxes. Kawhi taking all of those shots. Fragment comes in, Kohli picks the kill. Nice work to get the first opening.
And
all
now they go.
Are gonna flood in the flash. A little off direction. IonQ gets a frag. All these players get tagged by the sonar. Cross kills are gonna come in. Trades happening. It's just a 1v2 remain. Dominic though will be at his position. The Phantom is gonna sing the songs of death. How did the shots miss on Fox? I have no clue.
He even looked away after the spray, thinking that he has killed Fox already.
Exactly. His crosshair was dead on the head. He knew that, alright, this is going to be a headshot. We have no clue how it did not hit the head. He has no clue how it did not. And, well, Fox probably thinks himself lucky, but dude, that was a very sweaty round.
Oh my god. Well, at least now we know that Fox probably has a saying. You know that old song in like 2012 which went, what does the fox say? Well, we know what he says. He says, thank you, Lady Luck. IonQ once again going for the exact same peak. How many times can he get away with murder?
Okay, this time he out-dropped. I love the trade play that happened between Vabigod as well as IonQ. Vabigod tanking up on those kills, getting the third for himself. The site has been completely broken open with Dominic coming in on the backside. I guess they're expecting this. Yes, Fox is expecting this. He will take him down. So again, an economic superiority, a weaponry superiority, and Vebigot just feasting on those players. Just telegraphed for Optimistic to get the first round, to get the fourth round for themselves. We've seen this happen. We've seen a comeback happen from this end as well. So I'm not really gonna call out results right from the get-go, but looking at the way Optimistic have played so far, I feel it's very encouraging because not only they have varied their pace, they have also varied their way of approach right now. They're involving fakes into their play, they're involving rotations into their play. It just adds on to their arsenal of attacks, and it's very important to have a big arsenal of attacks on the map of Haven. Otherwise, you're going to be read like an open book.
Yeah, and even though they have a massive arsenal of attacks, the one attack that they always use is this one on the C side. And it always works. This is their ace in the hole, their trump card. The one signature play that always works, no matter what happens. Hunter's Fury is a bit late. Cortex should have denied the plant, but hey, at least with this Hunter's Fury, he's clearing out the more common angles. Oh my god, he's so unlucky. He uses the Hunter's Fury, and just at that moment, the lockdown gets popped, thus buying even more time for Optimistic Esports, but at least it will be destroyed anyway. Now the defenders come to pour through, and they're using the numbers to overwhelm the people on the sites. Nobody's present over there. Even the KO will be revived back up on the feet. And now, Vebigot has no choice but to use the Hunter's Fury to deny the diffuser. Wherever... Nice protection by Kawhi. He kept Vebigot alive, buying even more time, but half the piece is already done. It's just out to Kawhi right now. He kept his Sova alive for long enough. Now he needs to peek the other Sova to kill the round. And that is it, ladies and gentlemen. Optimistic Esports have denied yet another buy down to FS.
I really don't know how, I mean, I kind of know how these players, Vebigot as well as Kawhi, survive the floodgates open. Just have a look at this, right? All the players in the side who were present to try and be the first form of resistance for the retake, they were overwhelmed with that null point coming in from the KO. Nobody expected that ultimate. It did come through, and when it did, all the players flooding in for the defensive team, it was just way too good. They cleared out the entirety of the side, but they couldn't really clear out the extreme end of the C corridor, and that is where both these players were. Luckily, they had the Hunter's Fury, and there was a very nice communication happening between Kawhi as well as Vebigot. This round, we have had a very early start, 2 frags already, a nice trade though, but a 4v4, especially with the Bucky on Kohli, this is going to be a way too difficult task for him to try and hold this side back.
Oh my lord, but FS Esports are still trying, using all the agility to deny the plant. And then they force the issue with their sheriffs and their headhunters, getting kills with all sorts of weapons, even Buckies of all things. A nice backstab from the side of Cortez does get them to kill onto Fox at the very least, but they've spotted the spike and they know where it is. Kohli can't have any trading potential right now, and the timing is so horrendous. He looks only at the worst possible moment. Optimistic Esports continue their onslaught. Sure, they lost a lot of members given the amount of weapons that FS Esports had, but still, with 6 rounds on a trot, they will have so much bonus. They can keep reinvesting again and again and again. They don't need to worry about lost guns at this moment.
Exactly. Even the ultimate situation looks favorable for them. Not really sure if the Tour de Force is going to be activated this round because they've got the money to buy. Dominic is using an operator for himself as well. The C site will be well guarded, but I feel like this is where a change in plan comes in. Now, Optimistic Esports, we've seen a particular pattern. They win the first 6 rounds and they change their plans and try something different. And this time they do exactly the same thing. Now, mid executes aren't really their forte, but this time trying to do this. B2 overwhelmed, but he escapes that situation. Perfect.
Alright then, at least with the amount of utility that FS is dumping in, they're keeping the attackers off the side. But Immutable finally starting to power his way through from the left-hand side of this thing. Getting 2 kills, but his teammates have already lost steam. And Dominic is sucking out whatever little steam that they have left over here. Oh, spike drop deep inside enemy lines, and Fox has to retrieve it from a nearly impossible situation. No even chance to have a safe spot to hide inside. There's a backstab coming in from Cortez already. I mean, things are already hard enough for this man, but now you're just making it impossible. FS Esports finally showing signs of life as they hold on to the B side with an iron grip.
I call for it. This is a pattern that I've seen in optimistic esports before as well, right? They win the 6 rounds. Their initial default, which is their C side execute in this one, in Ascent it was the E side execute, kind of works well for them initially. It gives them a lot of rounds. It gives them that initial lead. But then on the back of that 6th round, they kind of change things up. Now, they try different executes. This time they tried that mid execute, which kind of worked in initially. They overwhelmed. I believe it was BO3 who was positioned, who was stationed in the B side, but then couldn't not getting that kill, playing on the back of a 5-5 retake. Things didn't really go in their favor. And now, again, the question arises, should Optimistic really change what they're successful in? Should they really change a strategy which has worked for them on 6 rounds on a trot? Probably yes. Some people might say no, but you can see that FS Esports are starting to get conditioned to this strategy. Dominic was positioned with an operator even before Optimistic, making their first move. He will be taking down players right at the get-go. So it can't really work every single time, is it?
Yeah, it can't. But hey, I mean, optimistic esports have been able to make their C side attack work every time. So maybe they can fall back to the good old reliable one. They tried doing something with the beat this time and obviously it did not work. So yeah, maybe FS Esports can at least take some, I don't know, maybe relief in the fact that their B side defense is good enough. But this time, once again, Optimistic Esports are trying something new. They've shown so many C-side assaults, but this time they're going A, which is something we haven't seen them do before. B2 doesn't shoot at IonQ as he walks inside, but even the others check his angle later on, so it's really nothing. Cosmic Divide keeping them at bay for now. Spike goes down, buying them just enough time. But will they dive through? Dominic with a very brave push, leading straight to his death, leaving Kohli all alone in a lonely world.
Only one fragment to work with. 3 players coming in from only one direction. One coming in from short, isolates that one frag, but Fox wins it. Optimistic Esports, who once again returning back to their good old default, but this time towards the A side, kind of took FS Esports by surprise. It was sort of telegraphed, right? They used the C side for 6 rounds to try and hit the B side, which didn't work. Now they had to try the A side, which they did, and they were successful. But
the only
FS
option left.
Exactly. But again, you've seen the fast-paced aggression that Optimistic bring on the table. FS, they've had a hard time dealing with it in the map of Ascent. They're having a hard time dealing with it in the map of Haven as well. What can they potentially do to stop this? To be honest, I really don't have any answer, because every single time someone does a push that fast, all of your players will be overwhelmed. Look at this, Hunter's Fury activated right from the get-go. But wait, Dominic has found his way towards window. But the alarm bot.
Yeah, if the alarm bot wasn't there, he probably could have gotten a kill onto the Sova, who was already using his Hunter's Fury. Now, though, they've managed to hold on to the A side with an iron grip. They fend off the forces of Optimistic Esports, and with this, they have successfully got this round in the bag. FS Esports putting up a fight now.
Yep, absolutely. This time setups were changed. Ultimate was popped off way too early, kind of try and clean up the default corners, but
Placing swarm grenade.
to mix things up, there was a potential backstab which cost them a moment of hesitation. Couldn't really go in like a rocket train or a rocket train that doesn't even exist, but you understand, right? Couldn't really push in like a bullet train. Yeah,
Probably an invention of the future, huh?
maybe.
I mean, given the way how aggressively these teams have been playing, a rocket train is
Player standing.
probably something we see very soon in the future. FS Esports, though, not sure about rocket trains, but they do have a rock-solid defense.
Yep. Rock solid defense in this half only, because they've only got 2 rounds for themselves.
Yeah, rock-solid defense in this round. I mean, you gotta take my words with a pinch of salt.
yes, but this is where things get interesting, Chris, because now you can see FS getting conditioned to what Optimistic can potentially do and how they can prepare an antidote. Maybe a backstab is their answer to the questions that they are posing. So they've started doing those things and they're starting getting success from it. Maybe we can go again to an 8-4 scoreline that we had to see on the map of Ascent as well. But this time Fox is not stopping, neither is IonQ. They really want to brute force the occasion, but Dominic is towards mid window once again. So they're waiting. They're waiting for that small little moment where they might actually fall back or rotate. If they don't rotate back, they're gonna push back and go for a backstab. Instead, all the action is happening inside. It's a brute force situation, but 3 frags come in for the attackers as they completely destroy the defense there.
What is
Planted.
Kawhi doing on attacking spawn this late in the round? He just about spots out Dominic, and Dominic is like, what the hell were you doing? I don't even blame Dominic. He had no reason to check that angle. He shouldn't have expected anyone to be over there. Oh, optimistic esports. Looks like finally the Ace site assault works. Oh my god. Mind the tongue twisters, but yeah, it seems like whatever they are doing is kind of working at one point or the other, right? 6 rounds in a row, C site attack works. They tried A couple of times, didn't work, but hey, they find a way in the end.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it probably did work on one of the occasions. So A-side is again a very good candidate for them to kind of use their attacking strategies. But this time, they've been successful once again. 8-2 scoreline. We're probably moving towards an 8-4 half, but I'm not really sure. FS, they've been beaten on multiple turfs in this occasion, in this round, Crips. Number one, their backstabs are not working anymore. You've got a backstab for a backstab ready. How can you deal with that?
Yeah, bro, like, I feel so bad for Dominic in this round. There's no way he could have expected Kawhi to.
Your frontal offense, trying 3 players inside or trying 4 players inside, that's not working as well. What can you potentially do? What can you potentially do to stop a hype train like Optimistic at this point? I'm not really sure. Optimistic, they're really optimistic. Everything that they're working, everything that they're trying out is just working so well. This time, FS does something different. They pushed the issue, right? Pushed against Fox, but there's only one player over there. They return back to their good old C defaults where there's B2 present. It's a 1-for-1 trade. Nice work as Iron2 clears up the site for himself.
Got C side under control once again. The good old reliable one. And of course, they're gonna use it like their bread and butter. Spamming it every time. The flash, good enough for 1 kill, but can they continue this momentum? Null command has been popped, so no more utility available for the side of the attackers. But they down the KO instantly, and now all that remains is Cortez, and he's got a lot of heavy lifting to do. His shoulders can't handle the weight, and they crumble under the pressure. 9 rounds for Optimistic Esports.
Last round before the switch.
The only thing that could throw them off is probably the curse right now.
Yeah.
The dreaded, unspoken of number. We don't name it.
Yeah, we don't talk about that. We don't talk about that. But you know what? Like, I kind of feel bad for, I believe Cole it was, because it's the worst thing in the game to be a robot on your ultimate and get knocked down. You're just lying there and viewing the game in a very smaller perspective, receiving bullets, and you've got 500 HP to survive. That's the worst thing possible for you.
Yeah, but at least this time when you say Jet will revive me, it actually means something and not, you won't end up sounding like an idiot at that point. Hey, they're trying A this time. Oh my lord, a very early Hunter's Fury commitment.
Yeah, but
It doesn't even matter because he didn't tag all that many people and now he's left all by himself. Getting sucked into the gravity well, getting double and blinded. Backup has arrived in the form of Kohli, but he's only able to get 1 frag in return. And that does absolutely nothing to stop the approach of Optimistic Esports in here.
Yeah.
They even have a lockdown to buy some time, but Batman wants to push it before it can even pop. He's found everything he needs! All the kills, the lockdown dares, and it's just Kawhi left. He can't even peek beyond this cosmic divide.
It's gone. It's gone, but P2 was like, your head is gone as well, bro. Kawhi couldn't really do much over there. As soon as the divide goes through, as soon as it disperses, 9-3 is what we have in our hands. Now, few would believe that it's better than an 8-4. I believe against it. But really can't really expect anything further because FSC Sports, at least they've got 3 rounds for themselves. They've got something to fight with. At least they can get the pistol round in the round after that, and they can prepare themselves for maybe more rounds on a trot. And we've seen this happen, Crips. We've seen an 8-4 comeback, 8-4 situation being completely overturned. 6 consecutive rounds in the second half. So if something like that happens, maybe FC Sports can even the situation.
Oh my god. I can't even believe that we are probably standing on the edge of yet another comeback. Not fun to believe in superstition, but hey, patterns are patterns, and history has a way of repeating itself, especially when Badman is the one to start things off. They got the pick on B already, and all the defensive utility is just trying to keep them at bay, but Dominic doesn't care about that. He wants to push the avenue. getting control of the entire B side, going all the way towards back of Gong. Has to win this duel against Kawhi. But even if he doesn't, it's okay. The other players have made up for it. Now Kawhi is trapped on an island, no backup available for him. His teammates are nowhere close enough. They're coming in from behind. But by the time they even get into the B side, the spike is traveled towards C. What a switcheroo.
This is, to be honest, possible because you can see that the two players who are still remaining, they are quite low on HP. Now INQ actually has made his way inside the side. Batman, one general blow in his direction, he would be out, and he is out. One shot not to work with for Cortez, but what can he make out of it? He's got a recon as well. 49 HP, what a classic.
Yeah, but the location at the spike plant will make it obvious where he is. Both of them are healthy enough, but Cortez still pushing the edge. A single shock dart can easily damage the healthy Killjoy over there, but the half defuse is done. He's taking it. Oh my lord, what a madman. Fox had nerves of steel and balls the size of Jupiter to go for a play like that. But he wins the pistol for his team anyway.
He had to take the gamble, and I believe the only reason why he did so because information was relayed that the Sova is quite low on HP. He could force the issue over there because he knew that one general blow with a frenzy would take down the Sova. He was at probably around 50 HP, so only 1 or 2 odd bullets are needed to finish him off. He was at full HP, so I mean, the situation was always in his favor, and that is one of the reasons why he's sticking. Otherwise, he probably would have left it on half diffuse and tried to force the issue fight against Sova. But nonetheless, that's not happening. 10th round for Optimistic. Speaking of curse, well, there you go, Mythbusters.
Oh my god, FS Esports, they don't even care about this utility being dumped at them. They just power through it. Dominic getting peppered with the dots, with the fragment, and now even the judge bullets. Finally, IonQ has something to say for all of this, but Dominic just simply can't make an impact. Forced to reconcile, forced to fall back. Optimistic Esports are shutting down all sorts of attacks from FS Esports, and this is horrible. FS invested into this round. They had money. They forced. And because they lose this now, they will have no money till the end of the game. Oh my god.
It's so funny that Immutable picked up the judge in the second round of the half where FS Esports bought weapons. They thought that, alright guys, we're probably going to fight against Spectres, so let's pick up Spectres ourselves as well. And then suddenly Immutable is like, surprise! With a judge.
With the judge, yeah, straight up. Shutting them down before they even have a chance. And with this, the economic setback is massive. Imagine being on match point and not having the money to buy. That's just tragic.
A way too deep, or rather steep landslide. But Badman finds the first kill for himself. Kawhi trades him back. You've got Baby God making up for all the lost turf that had happened in the first. The judge versus a ghost. Nothing's happening. The spike is not traveling, ladies and gentlemen. It's still very even Stevens.
At least he spotted them both out. And he's got enough mobility to just peek around the corners. Kohli is already hemorrhaging internally. Yeah, he's got a foot in the grave. At least he knows where Kawhi is, so he's just trying to go around the corner, hoping to retrieve the spike. But nah, not happening, bro. Not happening. Optimistic Esports want to shut this game down so quickly.
Match point.
Yeah, dude, like, this is tragic, to be honest, because did you expect this to happen? We saw 4 overtimes on the map of Ascent, and then 12-3 on Haven.
Yeah, such a different vibe, isn't it?
It's like I'm casting a completely different game. FS didn't even have their say in this game so far. Now, you can credit this to probably the likes of Abigod or IonQ or Fox, but I feel like it's been a team effort from Optimistic. They looked in control on the map of Ascent, but on the map of Haven, the teamwork just popped off way too much.
Yeah, and you can see this already, right? Combination of the gravity well and pushing from the jet, simply getting them the kills so easily. And after showing presence on A, they disengage for just a little bit, and FS Esports want to go towards A again. Will this be readable for Optimistic Esports? I don't really know, but the way this Cosmic Divide has been committed, it's kind of telegraphic of what's happening. So you can see that Optimistic Esports are already dumping the utility to deny the plant. Fragments, Hunter's Fury, even the Gravity Well for that matter, they should be able to perforate B2. Even Batman gets stacked. Oh, this is just gone from bad to worse. Two players stuck under hell, and the flash is not helpful at all. Still a 2 versus 2, but weaponry advantage has been kind of neutralized. Kawhi coming in from behind at the first time possible. Batman had no way to anticipate that, and Cortez backs against the wall, has to push through, but he cannot. Kawhi takes the W.
Yeah. Damn. It's game over, ladies and gentlemen. Optimistic Esports win the map of Haven in amazing fashion. Completely brute force their way, bulldoze their way against FS Esports. And you can see Fox with a thumbs up. The smiles speak for themselves. What a game it has been. It was a statement of the map of Haven. They planted their flagger right from the start and did not lift it up right at the end. FS Esports, for them, it probably was a heartbreak because of a performance that they started off with. 6-0 lead on the map of Ascent, giving it away to Optimistic in the end of the game, but still taking it to 4 overtimes, and then the map of Haven being a complete landslide. I really don't know. It's a lot of mixed emotions that I'm feeling right now for FS Esports because this was a mixed game all over. But I feel like Optimistic, if you look at the overarching storyline, they were the better team in and out.
Yeah, definitely. I wouldn't have expected such a dominant win from them, especially after Ascent was such a back and forth affair, right? This time, the highlight moments were very clear, and most of them came from Optimistic Esports. They were in control of the game all and all throughout, starting off with consecutive C-side executes back to back, and they found success. FS Esports had no quarter, no say in this entire first half of the first half, if you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
They were just simply unable to stop these C-sides at all. And once again, Optimistic Esports getting a nice lead, a sizable chunk.
Exactly. Now, I feel like, Cribs, when there's one particular strategy which is working for you on multiple rounds and you're not finding an antidote for it, it not only takes a big hit on your scoreboard, it also takes a big hit on your mentality. Just imagine what is going through the minds of FS Esports players and not being able to stop a C push. Like, there's no sugarcoating it, right? IMQ dashing in, getting players left and right. They're not even trying to fake. Maybe one occasion they did try to fake and go towards the A side, but that's basically double fake, right? But there's no sugarcoating the fact that this was a plain and simple C push with a consecutive, I would say, lineup of utilities, right? Which was pre-planned. That was basically it. And FS Esports were completely being bolstered in the C side. So it takes you a very big mental hit. It takes a very big mental hit on you to kind of suffer that instance. And I feel like that is where the confidence got crumbled right at the start of the game.
Yeah, it's back-to-back C-side assaults by Optimistic Esports, followed by one failed B-set attack and several A-set attacks as well. So they got the lead really well. And then this moment when Fox was able to win the pistol round, that kind of solidified all that they got in the first half. What a good way to win the pistol too. Like, he had nerves of steel to stick the diffuse half like that and then win it again after pulling the frenzy out. And it was even worse that FS Esports, they took a big risk by reinvesting in the second half. That loss is what basically dug their grave. They knew for a fact that they won't have money throughout the entirety of the second half, and that was enough for Optimistic Esports to rush all the way to the finish line and touchdown in the end.
Yeah. Exactly. And ladies and gentlemen, you have the map veto in front of your screen right now. I feel like two sets of fans will be very happy. Number one would be optimistic fans. Number two would be neutral fans. Neutral fans because they got to see two extremities of the game in one best of 3 series. One, a close quarter. You can see 4 overtime, 17-15, and then one whitewash. So all the sadists who are out there who probably enjoy one team completely whitewashing the other team, yes, you are going to be very happy. And I feel like Optimistic Esports, they did everything good. And I feel like this win kind of takes them closer to reckoning as well as Team Exploit. And this team is going to be a very big threat to these teams' clear run of money. We'll have a look at the group standings, ladies and gentlemen, where we're going to find out how far did Optimistic Esports push forward. 6 points, 2 points deficit.
Okay, that's pretty damn good. Now they're close to Exploit and Reckoning Esports, teams who haven't faced a single loss in this entire league. I think this is pretty damn good, right? Nobody else can get close enough to them. True Rippers could have gotten close to them tonight, but ladies and gentlemen, we have a little bit of news for you. The match that was supposed to happen at 8 p.m. today, the one which featured True Rippers facing against the side of Only Friends, has been postponed.
Yeah. And that's kind of sad because Paradox was supposed to play, and I'm pretty sure like a lot of people love Paradox play, but that's basically it. This was the only game that we had for the day, and I'm pretty sure the people who tuned in, they had a run for their money because this was a really great game. Optimistic Esports, they push forward in the standings, whereas for FS Esports, things get even tougher. Crips qualification is going to be on the line, and they're going to be constantly battling against True Rippers for that same spot once again when they battle out later on. But that's basically it from our side, ladies and gentlemen. Crips, any final thoughts?
No, I'm just really happy to see a match which has everything from a quad overtime game to a whitewash game. Yeah, of course, it's a bit sad that we don't get to see the second game today, but hey, the match is only being postponed. It's not being cancelled, which means some or the other time in this week, you will get to see it after all. But that's all we have for you guys today, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for tuning in to TEC Gauntlet Season 4. Powered by LG Ultragear, Crucial, Intel, and 656. Make sure that you check out the products of these wonderful people in the description box below, and also follow the hashtag Game with Intel. Of course, check out the Intel products because they give you the best gaming experience. And of course, even Crucial and Ultra Gear are really good combinations to go along with the Intel products. Make sure that you check them out and subscribe to the channel for more Valorant action. We'll see you again tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you and good night.
From the legends of memory and storage, Crucial brings you the ultimate performance in gaming. Legendary products, precision engineered for speed and stability. Crucial Ballistics.
Hey guys, I'm Ankita. Welcome to Streamer Reviews, the place where you can watch gamers review the best new gaming laptops in the market. Gamers love exploring the vivid detailing of their favorite games. This demands a system that can support their immersive experience. So, we'll be checking out the Intel-powered Lenovo Legion 5, a laptop with features that let you dive into the exciting world of gaming. One of the most important aspects of the Lenovo Legion 5 is its 11th Gen Intel Core i7 processor, with a base clock speed of 2.3 GHz up to 4.6 GHz turbo. It flaunts 8 cores, 16 threads and 24 MB cache. The Legion 5 lets you untether your gaming experience with Intel Wi-Fi 6, ensuring you can enjoy your favorite games wherever you like. Play on the go with up to 75% less latency. The Lenovo Legion AI engine optimizes performance automatically to any of the top 16 AAA games you're playing, with auto detection dynamically allocating CPU and GPU usage accordingly to get up to 15% more FPS. Speaking of senses, there's another sense that's also important for an immersive experience: sound. Thankfully, the Legion 5 has this covered as well. A pair of stereo speakers enabled with dynamic audio gives you an immersive 3D audio experience. Why wait? Get your own Lenovo Legion 5 and dive into the world of gaming today.
the legends of memory and storage. Crucial brings you the ultimate performance in gaming. Legendary products. Precision engineered. For speed and stability. Crucial ballistics.
Hey guys, this is Herman and you're watching Streamer Reviews, where gaming streamers review the best new gaming laptops. All gamers want is a system that meets their need and can run their favorite games at high FPS. The MSI's GF63 Thin is a great laptop for this. The GF63 comes with an incredibly powerful 10th Gen Intel Core i5 processor. It's a hexa-core processor which lets you run more tasks at once and can boost up to 4.5 GHz of turbo in order to say bye-bye to both bottlenecks and lag, ensuring that low FPS will never affect your gaming experience. The Core i5 is also well supported by the GF63's GPU. Variants with the NVIDIA 1650 and RTX 1350 are both available. A solid RAM helps this Intel Core i5 processor access its data at rapid speeds, allowing it to work efficiently and deliver the high FPS that you desire. The GF63 comes with up to 16 GB of DDR4 RAM, which is more than enough to meet your gaming needs. Being able to play some of your favorite online games at high FPS depends on seamless connectivity. Thankfully, the GF63 comes prepared with Intel Wi-Fi 6, which lets you download 3 times faster and reduces lag up to 75%. It's time to experience the peak performance with the Intel-powered MSI GF63 Thin. Get yours now. And do check out MSI's complete range of gaming laptops powered by Intel Core i5 and i7 processors.